You ever get to a point where it's like, all right, you wait all day to eat. Let's say you're working or some shit and you don't have time to catch lunch, anything like that.
Today.
But then when you get home, you got to cook your meal and all that. Yeah. And once you cook it, you can't finish the motherfucker. But you was hungry, hungry.
Your stomach,
you
know, your stomach shrinks after a while when you don't
really? You hit that second wind. That's what I call it. You hit the second wind. Your stomach is like reset. It's like, all right, I guess nothing's happening.
It's like, I'll just
let me
myself.
get it from someplace else. Right. Let me get it from someplace else. But it's not a good look. Like, depending on how many calories you even have, you start getting that headache.
Yeah, the headache is the real.
Joe, fasting is good. Fasting is actually good for you, bro.
I get almost 3K a day.
On days I'm training, I go for 4. On days I'm training, like today. That's why I got 2 more of those pockets.
I fast at least once a week.
That's
how many days
you hit the weights or the calories or both?
MMA.
Oh yeah, go ahead.
Oh
yes,
yeah,
sir. Salute.
Yeah.
I hit people.
Salute. Yes, sir.
So like,
said fuck that.
You ever ate like half
I hit people,
meal,
nigga.
And then you go do like something to burn it off and then finish up the rest?
I don't like to eat right before I train. That bothers me. I don't like to go into training with a full stomach. God forbid you take a shot to the kidney or something to the solar plexus. A nigga hit you with a teep.
And what you throw up after that, right?
If you don't, you're gonna feel like you will.
You shit yourself.
It's gonna hurt.
That I've never done. I've gotten closer to puking than I have shitting myself. But I've seen both.
Yeah.
Let a heavyweight hit you in the liver. That should have stopped.
You ever farted from a stomach shot?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Fuck yeah, I farted from being around a cute girl before. Shit, anxiety was fucking me up. I had bubble guts in my stomach, nigga.
Now, when I was doing that shit, I used to stretch. I used to be blowing it up, bro. Blowing it up. You know, they hold your leg on the shoulder and they walk forward.
What you do in the gym, you gotta walk to like a machine nobody really used, like do a couple of reps and shit, let it off, and then go back to the shit you really fucking with. So you don't offend nobody. Gym
He's like, yo, man, if we doing abs today, we doing...
This nigga on the stair.
I'll be right back.
He paying the gas bill.
You look over, this nigga on the stair climber. What the fuck are you doing over there?
Or you do a quick jog. You don't look. Let the machine gun off.
Listen, man.
I will say the nastiest piece of equipment in the gym has to be those stairs. If they don't clean up after themselves, because it's sweat, all kind of human just DNA
everywhere,
all over that shit. You don't want that. I like gym etiquette. I like when niggas put their motherfucking weights back. Not just put them back, but put them back in their right place.
Yeah, put the towel down if you sweat.
Yeah, that too.
We clean the mats off like every couple minutes. That's just like an exercise.
I can imagine, because staph infection real and dudes
it's
do
not
get
a
cut.
game. Yeah,
dudes
it's not
do
a
get
game.
cut. Oh, big.
You cut somebody with a good elbow.
Now, Wiz Khalifa, like, okay, rappers that,
you
know what I mean, get busy with the whatever. 50 box, right?
Yeah.
Right? Wiz Khalifa with the Muay Thai.
Kickboxing.
Muay Thai shit.
Yeah.
You know, now, being someone that, you know, in that sport, what is the most difficult shit to train for? Or training, meaning like, what style is the hardest to train?
In my opinion, you're gonna wild out. American wrestling.
Wow.
Greco-Roman wrestling, American wrestling, like when we have to do wrestling drills, those niggas are animals. You think you in good shape.
Right.
Till one of them walk in the gym. And all of a sudden it ain't fun like it was.
Right.
That shea butter don't mix with that shit. Putting that shea butter on that shit.
They were like, put your hair, like, between American wrestling and like, wrestlers are super, those niggas are cardio animals, number one. Number two, they're always like...
Yeah, because you're using your whole body constantly. It's not even like you focused on punches.
A lot of those dudes are very acrobat. Snoop Dogg, fucking done wrestling. Snoop, he ain't box yet, but he announced boxing and shit. Snoop do every fucking thing.
Yeah.
But who else is like prolific with their shit? I just seen footage of Vic Mensa. And he was.
What about
I think Talib had a belt. I think Talib had a belt. If I'm not mistaken, I think he had like a straight belt. I'm not sure which
What about
one.
Lupe? You ever?
Lupe.
Oh, Lupe is such
Lupe,
a degree black belt.
It's
That nigga
beyond
take
that.
your life.
Yeah.
I've seen his father used to teach the military. You know how preachers' kids be like the ones who be the most fucked up? Martial arts teachers' children are.
Yeah, I bet.
It's different. He got swords in the house.
When I started doing
That he's
training, I took
training
that
with.
shit right to school.
Yeah, right to the playground.
I was like,
Let me test my shit.
Oh, y'all niggas.
Let me test my shit.
Yeah,
Solar plexus. Can you breathe? You take 10 steps right now, you gotta wait 10 minutes. 10 steps later, you die. Don't move, I'm telling you.
Hard
You're gonna be
You know what
scared to
Bruce
death.
Lee said? He said the best hand-to-hand combat art form is boxing.
Boxing.
He
Yeah,
said,
Bruce said he couldn't beat Muhammad Ali.
That's
Yeah.
because he was coming from a martial arts background with a lot of fixed positions. That's the
because you know his fighting style was a
It
combination.
was originally Wing Chun. If
Wing
you ever
Chun,
watch
yeah.
Wing Chun fighters, there's a whole bunch of fixed positions.
Right.
But his whole thing, that's why he got on that be like water.
Right.
Don't
Fluidity.
Don't absolve to one form because now you stuck. Nah,
Right.
get here. And that's why he's picked up boxing.
Because
their
you
hands
gotta
was
be
crazy.
flexible.
And he
You gotta-
fucked with fighters.
Yeah,
a lot
no,
of fighters.
Muhammad
yeah.
Ali, like the stories I hear back about Bruce Lee, first of all, they say he was like carved out of wood. Like he would train all the time.
Yeah.
Like constantly.
believe it.
So he was solid as shit. For like a little dude, he was supposed to be solid. That 1-inch punch,
Yeah.
I've seen that shit today.
Oh, Sifu does it. RZA Sifu. Yeah.
Word,
really? Yeah.
The 1 inch?
Yeah, he does that shit. Bang! He did it on Stan Lee's Superhumans. And he did it on a dummy, and they measured the what do they call that shit? The force.
The
Yeah.
CFI,
force of it.
yeah,
And what
the-
was
Square?
Yeah.
What was it? Was it like crazy? It was a crazy number?
What was the equivalent?
I can't
of-
remember, but it's out there. It's in the universe. You pull it up on the YouTubes.
Now, there's
Or
a
wherever
dude
it's
I
there.
follow. His knuckles are completely glazed over with callus, all of them. And he 1-inch punches on like bricks,
Yep, that's that
bats,
shit.
ribs, like an order of ribs, like animal ribs. And he just does that shit. Breaks them apart. His knuckles are like out to here. Just for like scar tissue. And the thought, I've been hit by professional fighters. The thought of that shit connecting,
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just
absolutely.
yeah.
It's breaking something.
Right.
oh, absolutely. And he'll kill you.
Yeah.
Like that's the problem. Depending
But-
on where
but
he
that-
puts that shit,
But
he'll
then
kill
but then you learn all that stuff, but you can't really use it.
Not in MMA. Absolutely not.
Yeah,
I've
you
seen
can't-
footage.
Yeah.
I've seen footage. But the reason why I brought that up was because back in the day, there was this video. J. Rue the Damager.
Okay.
Him and Afu Ra.
Taekwondo.
Now, I knew Afu Ra was nice. I just heard stories, but I never seen it for myself. I had no idea J. Rue was nice. And it's like these, like the movement, you gotta see this video, man. The movements were fluent. It looked just like one of the Kung Fu flicks. Like it looks better than these high-paid celebrities that get in these movies and they pull the camera real close because
Yeah.
they don't pay them enough to learn how to fight.
Right.
These dudes was
And it's still a lot of choppy shots.
killing it though, but killing it, man. And the Bruce Lee thing. In Tarantino's movie, they had Brad Pitt fuck Bruce Lee up. You know his family had to have a problem with this
Yeah,
shit.
they bad.
Period. I mean, we know Quentin Tarantino builds these worlds with this, it's like fiction based in reality kind of thing and shit, but you don't fuck with the master, Bruce.
Yeah.
You don't do that shit.
Right.
Kinda like
and
Power.
not Brad Pitt. And I love Brad Pitt, but
Right.
no sir.
Right.
Not Brad Pitt. That was a great scene though.
Yeah, that was a great movie.
You
period.
just described Power. He builds these worlds that's based in reality, kind of, but not quite.
Not quite.
Yeah.
You're right.
That's Power for real, for real. The only show I've ever seen where the cops are occasional.
You said the cops are what?
Occasional.
They're occasionally policing.
It's just amazing when you watch that world.
Well, it depends on
Have
what
we started?
perspective, because the people,
Yeah, it's
the
rolling.
people,
Yeah, it's rolling.
the people's perspective is where they want to, where the people want to be at. They want to be amongst the. I mean, it's called power, and this has nothing to do with police. But you can't tell these stories without the police.
Right,
But
facts.
it's from these people's perspective. We want to see this side of it and show the levels of what a drug dealer is and what a drug dealer can be. Because we all know that half these motherfuckers, right? We all know a nigga that can't read or write but can stitch a wound. Right?
Right.
We know that there are a lot of dudes that came up in the ranks, whether it was the 80s and the crack era, the dope era, however it came after that, that were multi-fucking millionaires. And they basically did the same thing
in
these
business.
fucking corporate businessmen were doing, except they just was born on the wrong side of the motherfucking tracks. This is all that power's showing. You know, and we're not trying to spark a mind to go out there and be the biggest fucking drug dealer ever. We're trying to spark the mind to go out there and be the biggest corporation, black-owned business that you can fucking aspire to be. You know? And a lot of that power comes through politics. I'm not into politics at all, but I know that if we don't have a seat at the table, which I can't speak upon it, but it's shaky there.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
But the fact that they just signed a fucking anti-lynching bill this year, it's like, of course you ain't supposed to fucking lynch people and shit. Of course it should be against the fucking law. But think of all the bills that was passed before that.
And that wasn't.
That was so insignificant that they just said, bop. You know? And it lets you know how many seats we have at this effing table. You know, and I hate getting political.
No,
but
let's talk about it.
No.
This is the reason why it's so hard forget minorities, black people, to attain power in these, let's call them fraternities or whatever and shit, for lack of a better word.
Right.
We don't get to join these fraternities
The
and
circles.
shit.
But you know,
Go ahead.
part of that is how we grew up. When we saw the Wu-Tang coming out of Staten Island as a group, that drove us to want to be in that. Who's our idols to see in the political world?
Okay,
To
well,
drive us currently now.
in the political world, it's what they'll let us do. When it comes to hip hop and things like that, it's what we want to fucking do.
Right.
Hopefully.
And the audience that we bring to us is consumers to them. So now we have something of value that brings them to us, that makes them come in these fucking neighborhoods and find talent. Not anymore, because they, you know, but back in the day, they had to come in these
Is it
neighborhoods.
glamorous to be a politician?
To be honest, like the reason why they go after like musicians and actors and try to get them to like, to endorse certain people that's running, it's because with the way the system is built, the higher rank that you have is the more people that you can control. So like there's a block assembly or whatever, that's a certain area. Then there's the borough president, that's that area.
Yeah.
Then there's the mayor.
That's
then
that,
you got
yeah.
the governor. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Who
and
answers
it's
to-
all,
yeah.
but it's all about how many people can you move? How many people can you sway or get to go in this direction?
Sheeple.
Right.
Sheeple.
But
It's not just sheeple. People might just believe in what you believe in.
Or they have the
and
same
and
values
you're the voice.
or whatever. I mean,
that
they can
follow.
agree on one fucking point, and the other person they don't agree on any points with, and they're gonna go with what's that fucking saying? Lesser evil? The lesser evil saying.
Right.
The lesser
Whatever.
two evil.
Right.
Let's
Yeah.
hear.
There you go,
So
lesser
you
two
look at it like, if you're a rapper, you dropping albums, you going multi-platinum, this, that. How many people can you move?
Millions.
Right.
Possibly, yeah.
That's why when people was like, Kanye want to run for president, I didn't laugh.
I didn't laugh neither.
No, I choked.
I was mad
Why?
Why?
because I felt that it would mess with the voting system.
That's why I
In a
choked.
sense. And we were at a point now where more people were voting, more people of color were voting more than ever.
Right.
And I just wanted to keep that wave rolling. And I mean, at the end of the day and shit, they say the vote counts, and it does count.
Right.
But as far as it mattering, it matters as much as Black lives do to this society right now. That's how much our votes matter, as much as our lives.
But I guess it's incentive to make people believe that they have the power.
Well, you have, and I hate this fucking word, but hope
Hope.
that person's gonna do the right thing. The same way you lend somebody some money and shit, you know, like especially a
I hope
family
you're gonna
member.
give it back.
It's like, I hope this nigga get his shit back, man. I hope he knows what I'm doing right now is taken away from something else I was doing that was a little more important than, you know. But it's always that hope, and people flock to churches for that.
Right.
That hope.
And churches don't get taxed.
They don't get taxed. They don't
At
get
all.
taxed. But I don't disagree with
I don't
doing that
disagree.
because
I don't
it's
disagree
like
with it either.
whatever gives you your moral code, So I read comic books, and in a funny sense, that shit gave me a moral code and shit. So whatever it is that helps you get through your day, if that keeps you cool, calm, and it makes you happy, by all means do it.
Right.
But what I'm saying is there's things going on while you trying to stay calm and cool. There are people moving pieces that affect your life directly, and you don't even fucking know about it. It's crazy.
That's what power really is.
Exactly.
See, at the end of the day, power is the illusion of choice. And the ability to enforce your will on someone else. If I can create the illusion of choice, if I can make you think that you have free will, that's power. I made you think that you had a choice. Meanwhile, both options lead to me.
You know,
So I guess that when they say made in the image of God, that's what you're talking about. Because people are very selective with what they want to place. You know, this was the power of God.
of
And
course, but that's
this
in
was just
anything in
us.
life.
But
I don't
this
even
was
want
the power. You dig what I'm
I don't
saying?
even want to
depends
do that
on-
for God. That's anything in life.
That depends on whose image we're talking about. Like whose images are we painting this out? Is the image
No,
of
the image that there's an ultimate power that makes things happen, but you only give credit to the good.
Well, no, see, and Biggie can correct me if I'm wrong, but free will is in the Bible.
Right.
You have the choice to do good or bad, and the consequences come behind it.
But
God, as I understand, and Big, I want you to definitely jump in. The way it's set up, God isn't enforcing his laws on you. He's giving you free will, and he's telling you, here's what I want you to do. But I'm not going to stop you from doing any of this other stuff.
You ever read Exodus?
According to the scriptures, and this is a really great topic. This is something that comes up often, and I have to speak about. All right. Illusion is really, free will is really an illusion. And
We had an argument about this.
Yeah, and this is how you know it. If you study the scriptures and you understand this whole life that we live is a fork in the road. So when it's telling you about, like, you have the choice, yeah, you have a choice of who your master is going to be. That's what the scripture is telling you. So you're going to either choose God or you're going to choose the devil.
Yeah.
Once you make that choice, there is a fork in the road. That's what the scriptures are saying. You come to the fork. It's already laid out.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So if you choose the devil, you're on that road.
So
You know, if God is your master, you're on that road.
in the book of Exodus, it says that God hardened Pharaoh's heart,
Absolutely.
almost like so I could bust a flex on him. You know what I mean? So I could send these plagues through to show you what it really is.
Right.
But I'm gonna make you front. You dig what I'm saying? So then when you talk about free will and you read a part like that, you're like, wait a minute.
Well, he was manipulated.
He
Right.
did the same thing
Exactly.
with Judas.
Because they also say that there's a bigger plan. And for me to get this plan off, this has to happen. There's a bigger plan
I
in
think
mind.
the
Like,
influence of religion is so powerful because what's the three things that will make somebody not want to take someone's life? Revenge, jail, and then the fear of you not going to heaven. If you rank them, a lot of times people want to get into heaven before, oh, I think I can get away with it. I won't get caught. Oh, this guy's a pussy. Ain't no retaliation coming back. But God always sees the wrong. And that will keep a person thinking like, yo, if I put this negative energy out, is this gonna go back to my family members? Because sometimes the penalty don't come back to you. It might come back to your moms, your daughter, your sister. And you gotta sit there and say,
depending on how it is.
of course.
Like
you know?
I used to run around sticking people up.
Yeah.
And then one of my closest
no.
friends.
you're the worst.
And then one of my closest friends got killed in a stick up.
What'd that do to you?
It messed my head up. It made me kind of look at, because he used to tell me, yo, what are you doing? You need to go
You
rap.
thought that was your karma?
Not my karma, but a lesson. It was like the one person that was making MySpace pages for me and trying to get me to come to the studio all the time passes in something that I'm out there doing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it kind of like
I got
messed me up.
Yeah.
Yo, that free will shit. Let's get back to that right there. Okay, free will. Is it free will where you gotta take a shit, but you ain't got time to go, but you don't want to go in the airport, but this shit is bubbling, so you gotta go? Is that free will? I'm just asking.
Yeah, that's not free will.
That is not free will, brother, because I would. There's been times where I had to shit in the airport bathroom. That's how bad it was.
You opted to eat whatever it was.
There you go. Free will.
There you go.
I love it.
You chose to eat whatever it was, and nobody told you that you go to Taco Bell
You
before
got it.
flight.
There it is. Salute.
Now this is
Murder.
happening. Oh, word? White Castle?
That was your choice.
Check this
Eat that
out.
White Castle, meth.
That's dope. I seen something recently. This guy, the Infamous. Is that his name? The Infamous? Saying why aren't in every other genre of music, their older artists are revered.
We talked.
Said
We
they
talked
will
about
wheel,
this.
Y'all talked about that.
Yeah.
How they'll wheel them out on stage in a fucking, on their deathbed.
Yeah.
And the crowd will still give it up and all
Word.
that shit. And then he said,
With the IV in their
said-
arm, everything.
Yeah, exactly. Why doesn't hip hop revere
Because it's
their
not
OGs?
profitable. Go ahead.
Can I
Let's hear this. This is gonna be interesting.
I'm gonna jump in right now.
I want to double down on that and be like,
Okay.
there's a hip hop Hall of Fame, but doesn't your status matter until you are inducted to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame?
I didn't know that. I did not know that.
All right. As far as the why aren't the older artists revered? I think that's a matter of opinion. It's a matter of opinion because there's a lot of people, especially shout out to everybody that's subscribed, shout out to all the people watching right now. A lot of these guys, like the demographic of this show is like 24 to 55
Nice.
leveled.
Nice. That's nice.
You feel what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So the 24-year-olds, they're watching and they're
Okay.
seeing people like yourself, and they're like, "Oh wow, I didn't know that went down. I didn't know that went down."
Oh, that nigga pocket check.
Right? They probably weren't saying that.
Facts, Lord.
And then there's the other guys that's still watching. I think it's more of hip hop is young.
There you go.
We haven't gotten to the point where Jay-Z hasn't spit in a verse at 60 yet. You dig what I'm saying? Like,
No, there ain't enough Jay-Z spitting verses at 60.
Right.
See, I like where you went there and shit. For me, it's they don't know, like, it's hard. I'll give you an example. And I'm not saying this is me, but I'm pretty sure this has happened. There have been episodes where you can be an artist at a label, an up-and-coming label or a label that's already popping or whatever and shit.
Right.
But you create a lane at this label now that blows up. They make millions, you make millions, whatever. 5, 6 years from that, y'all part ways.
right.
A new guy comes in.
Right.
Right? Now, when you got your deal, let's say it was for 6 figures, this guy comes in and gets 7 to 8 figures. Right?
Right.
But remember, the path you laid, that new path,
Right.
opened up a whole new lane of money for this label,
Right.
which opened up a new lane for artists on this wave to pass through. Now, 6 years have passed, you're not on the label anymore, this new guy gets signed. 2 more years after that, you run, the guy blowing up, he blows up. You run into him, right? And they don't even acknowledge you. Kind of thing.
Has that happened to you?
No, it hasn't happened to me. But I'm pretty sure this has happened. And it's not
Well,
a conscious
Right.
thing
Well,
as
my
far
man-
as the newer artist goes.
I think MECC he stated many times that it's been preached to these new artists that the old heads are haters.
I get that. And
know
you
what
know,
I mean?
it's warranted though. Like I said before, it's warranted because when this new wave of music was coming through and it was these cadences weren't what we were used to.
Right.
And we're coming off of Eminem high, we coming off Jay making some of the best fucking music he had ever made in his whole fucking career.
Right.
And it was lyricism. Then the battle rap shit was bop, bop, bop.
Bop. Right.
And then you coming in and these dudes it's a vibe now. I didn't understand it at first when my kids was trying to put me on to the shit, but I understand it now. And it's like, I think about this, and when I was younger, yeah, we had Big Daddy Kane and all them niggas, but you know which party was rocking the most? The ones that was playing the reggae, the dance hall,
Right.
the rockers.
Right.
That's what we used to call it and shit. And it got to the point where I didn't want to hear hip hop in the club. And these kids are in the club, so for them, it's like, if you're not doing this, we don't want to hear that shit. And on top of that, you motherfuckers are saying, we not hip hop. We came from y'all. Now, if it was respect on both sides, because there have been artists that came in the beginning, Melly Mel, people that did, but Melly Mel in particular. Melly Mel has shit on hip hop after him. Like, he shit on a lot of people that came after him. And there are a lot of people like myself who are fans, who have been fans, who are still fans of Melly Mel. And to this day, when I see Melly Mel, I speak to him, but Melly Mel was rotten.
Yeah.
You know, there was an episode where he just passed me by, and my hand was out and all that shit. And I don't know if it was consciously done or if it was just done on some malice shit.
Right.
Either way, it was like, I watch interviews and things of that, and Mel talk real fucking reckless, and it's like, yo, Mel, there are people, some of these people that you talking about fucking love you, man. Don't
Right.
do that.
Yeah.
Don't do that. If anything, show them. If you the best, show them.
Show it.
Period. I don't give a fuck if nobody listening. You out there fucking doing this shit.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
And when it gets to those blocks right there, and then they have day crews and, you know, certain people that work at labels that's bigging them up and telling them when they want to do records with some of these OGs, they're like, you don't want to fuck with him, he's over with. That's another block.
But those blocks for them are necessary because the OGs will probably put them on to business things
That's
that they should be
exactly
doing.
why.
That's not happening.
But I get that. I understand that part.
Right.
But that's not what we're talking about here. We're talking about the younger generation reaching back to the older generation saying, let's just do a record together. And the
Bridging the
people
gap.
who are in the middle right here, like, nah.
There's a reason for that. That's intentional. That's not by mistake. That's
I mean,
intentional.
Honestly, like just why would Floyd Mayweather fight somebody that's had 10 fights? It wouldn't
Wouldn't make sense.
It wouldn't make sense for Floyd to do that shit. Or a fighter that's coming up in the ranks, people like him, but he hasn't proven himself.
There's a difference between fighting them and sparring with them to make them better. I can spar with you on a single and make you better. I can sit in on your studio session and make you better. Fighting you is me dropping my album the same day as yours and wiping you off the map.
That's crazy.
That's a fight. Nobody's asking for a fight. What I think a lot of people don't see is I think the idea of the separation, people think that that's by mistake or that just kind of happened. I look at it as way more insidious. I think it's absolutely intentional because if the young artist
Absolutely intentional,
gets
yeah.
next to you and you get to sit there and tell him all the shit you went through at Def Jam and get to tell him all the ways your contract might have been fucked up and all the ins and outs of the publishing world, and you start telling that dude who's generating somewhere in between $6 to $8 million every couple of months for this label, if you start telling him what he's worth, he's gonna turn around and look at the label and say, wait a minute, you motherfuckers is playing me this whole fucking time.
But you're not doing that in one studio session. This is what I'm
But-
saying.
But
And
keeping
this
you
is-
away keeps the friendship
I
from
understand that.
happening.
I understand that. If you develop a friendship, because
Why risk
honestly,
it?
a lot of the newer artists, I mean, not even newer artists. There's people I've done records with, right? And now you don't even have to be in the studio with a motherfucker and shit. But I respect them enough that I'm gonna jump on their shit with them and shit. And you take. Damn, I forgot my point. That's trees. and
Labels,
shit.
blocks,
Labels,
In the
block.
studio.
blocking between the young dudes and the older generation.
Nah, that wasn't the point I was gonna make. Fuck, I hate when I do that shit. That's what 51 is like, kids.
Stop it.
Fuck. But anyway, I mean, I get that people, or there's a way to think that, you know, not conspiracy, intentional, absolutely. But it discourages from, there could be some incredible fucking music made if some of these newer cats would step outside their comfort zones and fuck with some of the music maybe that their grandparents fuck with. like we did. Because we
But here it
use
is. They
music.
do. They do.
I hear it now. I heard that Lotto joint. I heard the joint with Megan Thee Stallion.
Right.
That's the Jodeci joint.
All throwback joints. Bunch of
It's a lot of
throwbacks.
that, and the drill music is definitely doing
Yeah,
it because
all
they remake.
Yeah.
You
every
answered your
motherfucking
question with the one word. You said it would be incredible music to be made. If I'm the label, my interest isn't making music, it's making money.
Absolutely.
I get to keep the money doing it the way that I'm doing it. I get a new dude who I can bring in, cash out, burn him out, get him out of here, replace him because he's that easy to replace. Finding another Method Man gonna be hard as fuck.
Once you
Method
pass
Man?
in the music, you have nothing to barter with until your audience comes.
Say it again.
Once you pass in the music, you have nothing to barter with until your audience comes.
So if I control the narrative that's hovering over the audience, if I can keep them understanding that from this range to this range is cool, age-wise, and this range to this range is washed and corny, fuck them and
You're
everything
right.
they say, I control the narrative.
So let's do this. Let's say this. Rock has a lot of subgenres. Right,
I said this
and
last-
but this is I got this from
I
Dude.
said
I'm gonna
this.
give credit
Yeah.
where credit is due
Yeah.
because he sounded smart as fuck when he said that.
Yeah.
Subgenres, right?
Thank you.
What would you call, let's say, the music that we grew up on? If it was still relevant right now, what would that
Boom bap.
subgenre
Boom
be?
bap.
Boom bap. That's dope. What would you call what they're doing?
Drill,
Drill
Not everybody's
or
doing
trap.
drill.
Trap.
that's
Now,
boom bap.
now
That's boom
see,
bap.
here,
we know
yeah, but
it's
see
boom
here,
bap.
that's boom bap.
So you said we need categories.
I'm not saying we need anything. I'm just saying the fact that you all said these different, names for different kinds of music, and they're all hip hop. Why are they all in the same fucking category?
Because
Well, I gotta say no, because
Why not?
for me, that don't.
We got
Nah, I don't
alternative
really-
rock. We got grunge.
Because I feel
we
like-
got electric.
Method Man on a drill beat is fire.
Okay.
I
and
can
it's
do
not
that
like
shit,
it
but
can't
I
be
can
done.
flow on any motherfucker.
But this is what I'm saying. So
rest my case.
What's wrong with what's stopping some of the older cats from adapting to this new sound?
Pride, ego,
and
animosity.
ridicule.
Well, and the fact that a lot of these don't last.
Your flow in particular on a drill beat is crazy.
I did one with Chi-Chi, Nikki D's son. Yeah, off the sleeve, like, let's get it done.
Right. So with hip hop, remember hip hop was created from a whole bunch of different genres of music, just thrown in a bag. We shook it up. We threw a beat behind it.
Started with
and-
drums. Well, I mean, it started with the DJ, and
DJ.
you had a guy there that would try and pump the crowd up.
Right, and he would loop an instrumental piece of another song, and people would start rapping.
Well, it was before because Flash did that. It was actually what happened was the DJ in between switching the records and shit.
Had
The
the
MC
MC talking.
would have talking
Hyping
the crowd up,
out.
keeping them hype. Who we got in the house tonight? What sign are you? Da 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 da. And then, God bless whoever said, "Fuck that, we gonna turn this shit into a cadence and shit," because a lot of MCs was doing the hip and the hop and the hit,
Yeah.
the bob, the bob, the bip, the bip, bip, bip. And it was an era of
I
that
think that
shit.
was
But
Cool
then,
Mo D.
right?
I think
so,
Cool Mo D ushered that era in.
So who are the OGs to say no? You can't do this with hip hop. If we didn't do what we did with it, and they did what they did with it, and the hip and the hop and the hip, that shit evolved. You
Right.
know what I mean? And battle rap, let's say battle rap, a real battle, started with Kool Mo D and Busy B. He ambushed the shit out of Busy B.
Right.
And Mo D been eating off that shit ever since.
Because he ended the era that you're talking about.
He
To the hip and to the hop and to the hip. That was Busy B.
That
Busy
Bob-
B
the
is
Bob
number
shit ain't
one.
gonna
And
work.
then Kool Mo D came in with actual bars, go and tell the whole world why you ain't shit. And then went on, and he ended that era. And now we're here.
But to
He
go,
ain't in judo, Busy B. You know I love
Nah,
you,
absolutely
nigga.
not.
Shout out to
Busy's still
Busy
out
B.
there. Shout out Busy.
But that was the
Busy B.
cornerstone. That was when we
Yeah.
turned the corner and started going a different way.
It was like-
Rakim's introduction into hip hop in the era where Run DMC was killing shit was another.
That was a definite.
But this is what I'm saying. This is the difference between hip hop and all the other genres. You don't see that doesn't happen in the other genres.
What do you mean?
If I listen to a country and western song right now, it sounds the same as a country and western song from 20 years ago.
nah, it's
Right.
not the same.
It's not the same.
Nah, bro.
it's not the same.
Nah.
It's funny, but it's not the same.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's rock.
rock has like 10 different genres within it.
Bro.
So when it comes to hip hop, we should think about that. Let's open our mind.
We're
True,
not
but
in
let's
charge.
let's keep in mind this is the biggest genre that we're talking about.
Absolutely.
And how old is hip hop?
Hip hop is the
About 40,
biggest
about 40
genre.
Let's say 45 years. So he said he's 51. So we're talking about by the time he's 5 years old, it's just conceptualizing. So when does hip hop matter to Method Man? How old are you?
when he's coming off the
51.
porch.
But
No,
I
no. How
when-
old
when-
when it mattered to you first as a kid?
Oh man.
Think about what we're talking
Sugar
about.
Hill Gang. I
Sugar
knew the
Hill
whole,
Gang.
I knew
83?
the whole fucking
Nah,
rhyme.
that was
And
70
then
something.
when I really got, it was 6th grade, we were on a class trip and everybody was singing Suck MCs. And I was the only nigga ain't know it. I was bad about that shit. But what I did know was the Force MD's freestyle, because we had a mixtape that I used to carry around all the time. So I knew this was when they was the Force MCs. And Dr. Rock was they DJ. Niggas battled Cold Crush and won, nigga. Ask me if I'm lying. Tell me if I'm lying. Hey, I'm not lying. They got him. Was it Cold? It was Cold Crush. It was definitely Cold Crush.
Crazy.
Got him. Oh, but this was harmony, the singing shit, you know?
Yeah, the tape of it?
Yeah, I had a tape. It's 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, ask Dr. Rock. Well, it's 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock, ask Dr. Rock. It's 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock, ask Dr. Rock. Dr. Rock, come on, let's rock the spot. We the Force MDs from Staten Island. On the ferry boat, we did come in. We rock back and forth and back. All you sucker MCs, man, come on.
We're gonna rock.
And on the microphone, you know, this is where we belong. Ha, 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 ha. Well, I'm the, come on, man.
Wow.
Word.
You know that cadence? Gonna rock around. That's
Yeah.
rock around. That's
Yeah,
round.
Yeah,
Rock
but this
around,
is
yeah.
what I'm saying. Hip hop is able to like, oh, that's what y'all doing? Give me that. Oh, that's nice. Give me that.
Give me that.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We take everything and we turn it
Everything,
into
yeah.
something.
Fly.
We make something.
I mean, Snoop Dogg redid Lottie Dottie, and we loved the shit.
Yeah, facts.
And this is what I mean about, you know, that homage goes a long fucking way, man. You know what I mean? We was already fucking with Dre, but to hear Snoop say Slick Rick, everybody else could suck a big, you know what I'm talking
Yeah,
about?
yeah,
And it's
yeah.
like, and then to hear Corrupt say, my favorite rapper ain't no joke, so why should I? Rock, you know, and that's
Yeah.
you know what I mean, right?
Yeah,
that
right,
shit. And to hear, they way on the West Coast, but they paying homage to niggas over here. My nigga was DOC. I used to wear my beard like that nigga, man. Still to this day, shout out to the DOC and shit. You know, he wrote a lot of that shit.
That nigga was
Dre
a
and
problem.
Easy was spitting, you know?
He was a problem.
Word.
So all right, so if that's the issue of the disconnect, how do you fix it?
Well, my plan has always been the same. You know, keep making noise until you heard. Bridge those gaps so when you do run into these shorts, don't be afraid to walk over and be like, what's good? Fucks with you type shit, you know what I mean? Because some of them do fuck with you, but you know how hip hop is. I've been in spots with fucking boot camp click and we love them niggas. But it was,
Nobody's
in the
saying
same
that.
spot and nobody's saying shit.
Yo, that shit be so weird. Like 21 sat right there, and he was like, I was like, yo, man, this Jay-Z is crazy. I'm like, yo, did you? He was like, nah, but I couldn't show him that.
Yeah.
I'm like, I don't know. That's flowers. For me, it's like, you know what I mean?
But you know how dudes flip it? Yo, that nigga's in the club. He was on my dick, yo. He a groupie,
Man,
a fan.
nobody
no,
care
you
about
got,
that shit, bro.
I know,
I
but
don't
that's been around for
If
years.
you mature, you
I
gonna
don't
appreciate it
disagree
for what
with
it
you.
is. If you're not,
I think
you
it
know.
just, I think because it's that instinct that we all have, and it's more or less like, you know, you don't want to be. There's an alpha in here, and you are alpha too, and you don't want to look like anything else but an alpha. So now everything you're doing is calculated according to the energy that's in the room, and that's best for anybody, whatever situation you in. If you can walk in and adjust to the energy in the room,
Right.
you always gonna be safe. You always gonna be right because you see everything. You know, when we used to go in parties, no lie, ask my niggas. Not for everybody, but us. We would go in and pick one spot, and that would be our spot for the whole night.
Right.
Now, regular nigga shit, I don't know, because at this point, Wu-Tang popping or whatever, and the whole party would come to us. We didn't even have to move, but we were in a spot where we could see everything.
Yeah.
Any kind of bullshit, this, that, saw it.
Oh.
Alphas, see, I've always said
Alpha energy, man.
Alphas seek control of themselves. Betas seek control of other people. I'm in control of me. I don't really care what else is. Like me walking up and saying, yo, bro, I've been trying to interview you for damn near a decade. Walking up to Math, yo, bro, love what you fucking do. That last battle, that's how me and him met. Just walked over and said, yo, this shit is crazy.
But that's the energy transfer where you felt like I could say that to him.
I mean, but even if I felt like I couldn't, what I say is between me and God. How he take it is between him and God. Like, however you take it is how you take it. I'm gonna say what I'm gonna say.
Yeah.
Because I feel like I want you to know.
Yeah.
I think you're dope as shit.
Yo.
And that's it.
Listen, I call Meth like 5 times out of the year and say thank you.
Yeah. Why you keep saying thanks, man? You know what it is, though.
Right, you be like,
I tell y'all thank you all the time. Even
thanks.
though we've been around each other for a decade and a half. I've known Math and MECC.
Yes, sir.
15 years apiece. But you still show respect because they don't gotta do shit for you.
Absolutely.
You know
but
what I
I've never, and speaking to that shit that you were saying, not to cut you off,
No,
bro,
go.
but speaking to the shit that you guys were saying earlier, how the OGs, if they get close to, you know, they drop, you know, they can drop jewels to them and all. I ain't never had to drop a jewel to Math. All I did was, when he asked
what
me
you think.
anything, it was more or less, okay, but when it was more or less like, I know where this young man going. I like his movement, I like his style. So if I can help him, push him along, I'll do it with example as opposed to saying it. I can show him.
Anecdotal.
Yeah.
Right.
Anecdotal. You speaking from your perspective, your viewpoint of a man who's super secure in his art, super secure in his stance, super secure in his square, and you're not influenced by labels because you've already seen what they can do. You were there in Def Jam when the nonsense started.
Yeah, I want to get to that.
Yeah, I wanna.
I want to get to that.
Well,
Yeah.
all right, so
What does Kevin Lyles mean to the hip hop culture?
Kev means a lot. Kev is a stand-up dude, period. I mean, if that footage that they put up recently of him, it didn't
him
surprise
testifying
me.
for,
It didn't surprise me at all, because that's
Young
the
Thug.
kind of person Kevin is. I'm surprised Leor wasn't there, because Leor, regardless of what people say about him, Leor has never, ever fucking lied to me. Never. He will tell you straight to your motherfucker, he never lied to me. And he used to carry a little picture of DMX right here. This fresh part. Love X. What? Anyway. When I got up in there, everything was brand new to me. So, you know, running into certain people that were on the label, things of that nature. But I always felt welcome coming up there. So I used to come up there and I ain't even had shit to do. That's how I met Ja Rule way back with Nicky D, who used to sit right outside Leor's office.
Right.
Fast forward, me and Doc are bubbling now. Kevin Lyles is coming up through the ranks. He put together something called the Month of the Man. Now, a lot of these tour dates, Biggie and Craig Mack were at, and they were touring. It was Big Mac, and they had this promotional piece that was in like this little, like a Big Mac
Big Mac
package.
burger.
Yeah, that shit.
The burger box.
Me and Red, Month of the Man. So a lot of these spots, Howard Homecoming, all these, we was there. So Notorious, y'all missed that. Y'all missed them facts. We was there at a lot of them shits. Anyway.
Right.
Kevin Lyles put that whole shit together, and I guess since it was so successful, he had me and Red both went gold. You know, then he got us both together to do the show soundtrack, Julie Greenwald and all the other people up there. And that shit went platinum and whatever. All right, now everywhere Kevin goes, me and Red go. We like this, nigga, right there. This
Right
pocket,
there.
that pocket. Like, yeah, we right there and shit. And not like we forced, it was like we was his homies. And it's good to have an executive that loves you and you his buddy and shit, because we went to like, I can't even count how many Super Bowls I went to, All-Star weekends, and I ain't spent a fucking dime on any private jets. I ain't spent a fucking dime. Nothing. Okay, fast forward, we're at Blackout 2. It's a little different now. I believe Jay and them had been signed, and Jay had this aura about him when he came in the building and shit. He just felt like a fucking superstar. You know what I mean? And they accommodated him like that. Cause like I said, Leo is a real motherfucker. It's like he gonna tell you, he gonna keep it a buck with you.
Right.
So now we got a Rockefeller wing, cause Jay and them getting ridiculous numbers. Hard Knock Life to all that shit. Label getting paid, they eating lovely. Ja Rule, I believe Ja had his deal prior to that, but when we were on Hard Knock Life tour as promo for himself, he would come out and do those songs with Jay. What was it?
Can I get a?
Can I get it? There you go. Shirt off every night. Y'all was out there stunting and shit. Like, killing it too. Anyway, Murder Inc. They get their wing now.
Right.
Now it's chaos up here. And not saying it's directly with these two guys being there now, but it kind of was, because now it's like, okay, there's a lot of mouths to feed. We got a lot of people here. Boom, X. I forgot X. How the fuck did I forget? X came in first. When X came in, I think everybody got a house. Shit, you know what I'm saying? No, I'm serious. Yeah. X came in, it was a whirlwind, and it was like, nigga, when I met him, we were doing the 4, 3, 2, 1 video shoot. And we didn't know who he was because we hadn't heard the remix. We hadn't even heard the new beat that Eric put on it. Eric Sherman's good for that shit. You rhyme the one beat, next time you hear a whole different beat. He did that shit with How High also. Right. So we show up to the joint, and this guy, we in like this little spot, because L don't fuck with the weed, none of that shit. You gotta go in a designated area, smoke your shit. This is King LL right here. Love you, Todd. You a fucking man. Real. Anyway, we in this room, we smoking, and this guy's in there. Got the hat on. He had exactly what he had on in the video and shit. You know, I was like, yo, you smoke? And that was always my opening line with niggas and shit, because I'm one of them niggas. I'm a stoner. That's what we do. Yeah. And I believe he wrote his own shit, and we always smoking, just chopping it up and shit. And I remember this because every time after that, like, when X blew the fuck up, and I've seen people blow up and then they get a little strange. And it doesn't necessarily have anything to do with you. They just ain't got time for your ass. Right. X was never like that. And he would always bring up that time when me and Red broke bread with him with the weed and shit. Small gesture, but he didn't take it that way. Right. You know what I mean? And now X is in the building. Then came Jay, Rockefeller. Then Murder Inc. Now it's all these, me and Red, we good. But now we got all these. These dudes is huge. So you can't get lost in the shuffle, and you can't blame your label for that. It's up to you, really, from the gate to do your own self-promotion. Right. Your own fucking choices as far as your music and your rhymes and all. When that pen hit the paper, those are your choices. Right. They don't make them for you. All they can say is, well, we're not feeling that one. Or this is a lesson for y'all, by the way. When a label says, when you want to do a certain single, and the label is pushing for another single, but they let you get the single you want and shit, trust me, they are done with your ass. Finito with you. Don't do that. Let them get theirs. You'll have one after that. They'll give it to you, especially after it blows up, because I fought that All I Need shit. And I fought it. I didn't want to put it out, because it was at a point now where when we were doing these shows and shit, Wu-Tang together, I would come out and be girls screaming. Now for me, it's like, I'm grimy. Same clothes 3 days in a row, nigga. I ain't trying to fucking, I don't want to go to sex symbol. I'm saying, who want to go to sex symbol route at this point? Because it's
you didn't understand what was going on?
I did understand. So
you didn't.
What? And I'm telling you.
You know how many chicks' cribs I went to back in the days as a teenager? Who did they have on the wall? And what's my big guy right, nigga? No, Thank you. You gotta look like Method Man. Yes, I'm in there. I'm in there.
Even to this day. When you were on Power, the whole time, every Sunday, you flood the timeline.
I used to walk in the girls' cribs and be like, oh, damn, all y'all got that picture of Method Man? That shit is crazy.
The same one. Dope, because when I was young, I used to have
the same one
with the hat. The same picture.
Oh, wow.
Or the braids out. Yeah.
I'm saying, when I did the same shit, though, when I was young. I had pictures of New Edition on my wall, who I love, by the way. I had pictures of fucking Lisa.
Cult Jam.
Right? I had a picture of Ola Ray. Ola Ray from the fucking Thriller video.
Right.
Love her.
Oh,
but you became, for the women,
you ended up on
that guy. But at that point in time, it was like, this is how I viewed it. All the guys that did the sex symbol shit lost their audience, which was the dudes co-signing and shit like that. Because dudes, they playing the music. Chicks be like, I don't want to hear all that crazy, that shit. But they get exposed to it through their guys, whatever and shit. So for me, it was like, nigga, Now, whatever and shit. whatever. Y'all go ahead with that shit over there. I'm gonna drop this Bring the Pain. Drop the Bring the Pain on board, right? But it wasn't no big fucking song. It was nowhere near a big fucking song. But when I walked the club, it was like niggas backed up now. And I didn't even have a big crew with me. My closest nigga was this fucking fierce as shit though. But I'm saying we 4 niggas. We walking the whole shit is party. Kind of shit. Then it got to a point where the All I Need joint drops. Now, before, the shows was packed, but it would be a bunch of fucking gangsters and shit all in the front, ready to vibe out and shit. And I jump in the crowd, I throw water, all that shit. After that All I Need dropped, nigga, it was a bunch of blonde-haired, silver, clothing wearing, like flooded, all chicks, man. And it gets to the point, because I'm one of these type niggas, it gets to the point where it's like, yeah, I did come to see the nigga. Only bitches in here yelling for that nigga for, man.
He got the pads for
Really?
us.
Yeah, fuck that nigga. I hope he trip on stage and break his fucking neck. Fuck that nigga.
You was feeling the heat.
But this the shit I'm thinking in my head. They ain't even necessarily feel that way, but this the shit I'm thinking in my head because I'm that type of nigga where it's like, nah. And we coming off a fucking a thing where niggas was wearing suits. And I really had a problem with that shit. I see different now, but I really had a problem with that.
With the suits?
Yeah. It was, when Kane started doing it, it was like, well, we still fuck with you because Kane got, Kane.
Well, it's
Father
Kane.
MC, a few guys. I mean,
Heavy D.
Wait,
Nice and Smooth. It was a bunch of guys.
It's funny you brought up Kane, because Kane was on the sex symbol shit too.
So was LL.
In my eyes,
LL
and I love, and look, in hindsight, I was wrong, but in my eyes at that era, that's when I was like, Rakim the nigga. I wasn't fucking with Kane after that. It was like, Rakim the nigga.
Were you afraid to be a sex symbol?
Yeah.
The pressure?
No, it wasn't about pressure. It was more or less like, I've never asked a chick to be my girlfriend. Ever. It was always like some Rasputia shit. You know, the light-skinned nigga in the, my boy. It's like, if I liked you, I'm saying, if I liked you, all right. If I didn't, it's like, fuck off me.
Right,
You do the breath, Keisha. I ain't fucking with you. Shit like that. But it was, attention's not the thing. And I've always learned that too much female attention takes away from what you really try, because now you're doing it to appease them. So it's like it's a look, and we know, I'm saying, they are focused on a lot of superficial things when it comes to a man, right? So now it's like, do I have to worry about my shoes now? Do I have to worry about smiling too much in too many girls' faces? Do I have to worry about who I hug now? Do I have to worry about who gonna be at the hotel when I get back there and shit? That kind of thing.
Sound like
Did you?
man questions.
Huh?
Did you?
No, not really. But there have been, you could be put in uncomfortable positions.
Yeah.
And, and in that moment, you could either be, they say don't meet your heroes. In that moment, you could either be the hero, or you can be the villain. This nigga ain't what I thought he was, kind of shit. And you worry about that kind of thing, too. Even though this is just you being who you are, being genuinely you.
I asked that question for a particular reason, but I'm gonna double back on it because all of us had did an interview with Rock Wilder. And there's a reason I had asked you. The pressure was too much. It got to a moment,
Yeah, it got.
We'll double back to that.
Only time the pressure got too much for me was when I was popping E-pills.
Same
That was
thing
that,
Rock
the
said.
fucking drugs and shit.
What time period was that?
Fuck, let me think. It was around the time when all that transitioning was happening, Rockefeller, Murder Inc., and yeah. So in that era right there, we were all getting fucked up. I don't know what everybody else was on. I could only tell you what the fuck I was on. And it was on E-pill, alcohol, and weed. And I mean, wake up with them, go to sleep with them, all kind of shit. Like all day, all day process. And it got to a point where I was like, I couldn't eat.
Yeah.
I was very addicted to these shits, and it was like I couldn't.
But why?
something to do.
Was it a create? Oh, I'm going in the studio.
I cannot write. You can't write on no E-pill. You can't sit in no studio on no E-pill.
No.
Yeah.
Some other dudes.
I mean, some dudes probably can. Me,
I ain't gonna front. I wrote a couple battles on the E-pill.
Damn.
Impressive.
Lord have mercy. I can't create on shit like that. So for me, I remember vividly, October 2000. I had a meeting with my crew, and I told them, I was like, New Year's, ain't none of us fucking with that shit no more. When the New Year's coming, it's gonna be 01, I was getting married. And I stopped in October. It's like, that was it for me. Stopped taking them shits and stopped drinking. I haven't touched the drink since.
Since the last time you was on my show.
That fucking nasty ass shit. I thought
Tiger Ball.
you caught me with that. Man caught me with that shit because niggas be telling you, no, it's like ginseng. That shit ain't nothing. No, it ain't. Ain't
It's really
nothing
Chinese.
in that
It's
bottle.
it's really Chinese wine.
There ain't a bone in that pot. There ain't no tiger's bones in this bottle at all. Not even a pinch of tiger in that bitch.
Was that the era where you were turning down interviews? Because I remember trying to get at you and you
I was turning down interviews. Yeah, you're right. Yep, around that time. I was definitely turning down interviews. I was bitter.
Why? What?
I couldn't see. I mean, I'm coming down off fucking, months and months of E-pill usage and shit and depression, and I have these anxieties, especially social anxieties at times and shit.
That's what Rock said.
And I didn't want to talk to anybody because I didn't want to be exposed.
Yo,
That's how I'm looking at it.
Right.
I didn't want to be exposed in that moment. Very
There's
vulnerable.
a feeling that you get.
That's real shit,
when
man.
when you like on the come down of them shits where it's like, I don't want to talk to nobody. You don't even want to say hi to people.
Because you might
say
tell
hi
on yourself?
No, because you just feel like you're not yourself in that moment, or there's something wrong, or people are going to be able to see that there's something wrong with you. So you kind of like
You're trying to avoid
become
shame?
closed in.
It's like somebody who's first time smoking weed, and then y'all go to a public place and they just think everybody
and
know
they're
they
like,
high.
now you're super paranoid because it's your
That's
first
real
time
shit.
being high.
Wouldn't know about that
But
either.
more than that, it's the serotonin levels in your brain is drained.
Yeah.
Serotonin is like, it's like the happy party.
Yeah.
When that shit is drained, what you left with?
You gotta re-up then.
No, you left with everything.
Yeah,
outside
everything
of
else.
that.
Doesn't
Nah, I
the
get it.
E-pill
Yeah,
re-up you?
Oh, if you would have got an interview, you would have got so much shit. I would have been
My whole goal in interviewing you was seeing the transition happening over at Def Jam, seeing them trying to like usher out some of my favorite MCs, and I wanted to expose that. And
I wouldn't have a
wanted you-
career right now.
I wanted you to.
I would not. I'm telling you, I would have been airing some shit out, and that was how I felt at that moment. But that was me dealing with my own insecurities at that point, because none of those dudes ever did nothing to me up at Def Jam. Nobody who worked there, staff, anything. They might not have included me in a lot of things.
That counts.
Yeah.
I mean, but they didn't do that. Let me put it this way: it didn't hurt my feelings. But it did get me to a point where it was like, maybe I'm not doing enough. Maybe I need to do this. Maybe I need to do that. Now I'm questioning myself, and my self-esteem is leaving with every question. Every question I have, more self-esteem, leaves, more self-esteem. And then to be in these circles with these mega stars now, and the label treats you, or that you don't feel, because you're too conscious of it now. You feel like you're not being treated the way you should be treated now, because you're so conscious and aware.
You're looking through those lenses.
Yes.
And you're actually looking for something to justify what you're thinking rather than seeing the good that's going on.
And knowing that feeling, knowing this is going on, because it happened to me as a child, I became recluse. And it was more or less like, let me fix myself first. And I felt like a cocoon. This is what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna go into this cocoon, and when I come out, if I'm not in better shape than I was before, fuck it. I'm gonna be the worst motherfucker on this planet. Period. I'm just gonna let those nasty thoughts and everything take over me, and anybody get in my fucking way going.
And would that make you Melly Mel?
No, I'm talking, look, B, man, I ain't like myself, so I didn't like anybody fucking else.
Right.
So that meant anything that would have came in my circumference at that point in time was gonna get it. My family went through a lot with my ass during that era, man.
Right.
And I can admit that I did take a lot of my fucking misery out on them, and they did not deserve it. And I took some of my misery out on people at Def Jam that did not fucking deserve it. You know, I had an episode with Beyonce, and this is me being miserable, okay? I had met them overseas with Jay. We were all over there. Well, I didn't meet them with Jay. Jay, Dame, all of us were over there. We were doing the MOBO Awards. That's like their Soul Train.
Yeah.
And the girls were there. Very nice. This is when there was still 4 of them, the original members. Very nice, very cordial, all that. And I always kept that in my head, like, these are some decent young ladies and shit. Fast forward, now it's 3 members. They got the 2 new girls. And we were at Janet Jackson's Icon. And I remember I just came off stage, and where we were sitting at, nothing but VIPs. You know, we had NSYNC up here, Destiny Child right there. Tommy Lee was over here, Pink. And I see the girls. So, you know, I kind of moseyed out of my seat to go over and say what's up to them. Now, this is me still in my low self-esteem era. But I'm thinking like, okay, comfort zone here. I'm gonna say what's up to the girls. I love them. I'm just gonna say hi. I go over to say hi to them. And when I said hi, they didn't even turn around and acknowledge me. Now my ass in my head with my low self-esteem is like, oh, they just shitted on me. When in fact, they didn't even hear me. It was so loud in that motherfucker. And that's the excuse that I'm giving right now. They didn't even fucking hear me. That's what. Afterwards, Rockwilder, he was gonna do the Bootylicious song for him. He comes over. He's talking to him. He's like, oh, y'all know Red and Meth? And they put their hands out to shake. And I kept my hand here and was like, go ahead with that Hollywood shit. To this day, that shit hurt my heart because neither Kelly, Beyonce, or Michelle ever did any fucking thing to me, you know? But me being so miserable, and in that fucking moment, I felt like they wasn't treating me the way I should have been treated. Who am I to think that about these girls? They're here to promote themselves and break records and things of that nature. And it was not about me, it was about Janet fucking Jackson. You know? And to this day, man, like, I don't think I've ever apologized for that. I apologize to Beyonce, I apologize to Kelly Rowland and Michelle. Y'all did not deserve that at all.
I wonder if they remember that.
Because, you know, they probably had them posters on their wall, too. You know that, right?
Doubt it.
You know, they probably had them posters
Bro,
too.
that's Houston.
Settings.
They got
That's
ripped down
Houston.
as soon as they got home.
Bro, that's Swisher House. Not Swisher House. Jay Prince and them. You know what I mean? Come on, Houston had his
don't
own
sleep on
fucking
it.
hip hop movement.
Look, man.
Like New York
I don't
had their
care what-
own little shit.
can't sell.
They was selling Source magazines out
Thank you.
there.
Thank you.
Yeah.
You was on some chicks' walls.
You can't.
Just letting you know.
You can't sell a record
Just
you
letting you
sold
know.
and not be out
might
there.
not
Like,
be
you gotta
Letting
stop
stop
their
it.
walls.
But
I'm
you was
telling you,
on
man,
their
yo, I
walls.
used to walk in like, God damn, this nigga again. That's what's up. I gotta get my shit shaped up right.
Yo, yeah.
Yo, I got where I got this from? Kane.
Okay.
Our work video.
Oh yeah, you let it wolf.
I get the
Real
jump.
quick.
He got
get
rid
it.
of the. He let
I
it.
was like, okay, time to switch it up.
Bang. Bang. Dope.
Tretch, that's why I got braids.
Oh.
And when I seen Tretch, I was not afraid to give it up. And Tretch, no lie, I love you, Tretch, but this what you did and shit. We was down to Jack the Rapper, right? And I remember this so vividly because our tour bus was fucked up, everything. We stayed like maybe 90 miles away from where everything was popping at because the hotels were cheaper. Serious, this is loud.
go.
Early days. Steve Griffin was doing his thing though.
Yeah.
Come over to
Oh,
the
you was
spot.
still on loud.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, it's
This
the Wu-Tang
This is
deal.
Wu-Tang.
Wu-Tang,
Okay,
yeah.
got you.
We down at Jack the Rapper. Yeah, if anybody from the area, y'all know what Jack the Rapper is.
Yeah.
So, who was it? Ultramagnetic MCs. It's like in this hotel.
Wow.
They got like one of those rooms, one of those
Right.
ballrooms and shit.
Right.
Yeah.
So a lot of people are performing. Ultramag. Now they're not trying to let us perform. They don't want to let us perform and shit. Nobody's right now and shit. Ultramagnetic MCs at the end of their set cut their shit short and gave us the mics and let us get on. But prior to that, like I said, there was a lot of people performing there. And I remember seeing Tretch from Naughty and a couple of other niggas and Be Real. So I walked by and said, what's up, Tretch? Nigga gave me the But that's trash though. I mean,
yeah.
he consistent. You know what I mean? For real. And but you know, years later and shit, I run into the nigga. He didn't know who the fuck I was anyway and shit. But yeah,
Right.
and you know what? In that moment, it was like, I love this nigga. Like I love this nigga for that. That's right. Don't even, you know what I mean? Like
Right.
yeah.
Right.
But Ultra Mag let us get on the mic that night, and that was the best ever, man. Like that's why I would never, when it comes to Math Hoffa, even Big T, you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Niggas,
T.
I'm like, yeah, why not? Let's go.
Why not? Yeah.
Let's go. You know what I'm
That's
saying? I fucks
exactly
with
what you said.
Yeah, why not?
That day when I was like, you was like, yo, I'm like, yo, do a song with me. You was like, Math and Meth? Why not? I said,
Nice. I'm saying, but like I said, I have no problem bridging that gap. Like I'm a fan of
yeah,
excellence.
definitely that. Like,
I'm a fan of
Say
excellence.
that. You're a fan of what?
Excellence. Period.
excellent.
Now, when I seen him, he didn't even see me.
I
Called
did.
him.
Wow.
Hoffa. Just like
I was
that.
like, I turned around, I seen Meth come in, I was like, nah. Nah, this ain't had, because it was a Motor Technique. He invited me out there.
Nice.
So I'm walking around, I'm like, oh shit, they go Q-Tip. Oh shit,
Lot of
yo, this is
niggas.
crazy. I'm backstage, I'm seeing the trailers, I'm reading the names. I'm
Fucking
like,
Chris Rock was back there too, nigga.
Son.
I seen him.
Chris Rock was back
Yeah,
there?
he was back there and shit. He was fucking with Young Dirty Bastard. I thought they was gonna do some shit together, but that never came to fruition. But
Snoop.
yeah,
Snoop was there,
yeah.
Buster.
I ran into Swave though,
Yeah.
and I fucked his name up. I called him Suave Sever. Pardon me, Swave.
Suave
Swave. Like, you Suave Sever, and nigga was like, yeah,
Don't do
Swave.
that.
Yeah,
Throw the order, yeah.
Like, damn, I lost one. I'm a fan of this nigga.
It's easy to volunteer to jump on somebody's record when you ain't got to worry about getting like absolutely embarrassed.
What you mean?
No, but I'm not, yo,
Well, he knows-
honestly,
he knows
I don't
that.
think you
What?
should be an MC. Honestly, I don't think you should be an MC if you don't think you better than everybody else. Niggas thought I had a problem with Joe Budden saying he was better than me. No, I had no fucking problem with that. He supposed to feel that fucking way.
Right.
My problem with Joe was everything that came after that.
Right.
You know what I mean?
But
And it was
was-
more or less like, nigga.
Because he kept, you think me and him on a record, you think I
There's a
wouldn't
lot of
smoke
shit, and I'm
mentally?
sitting there like, Joe, I don't fuck with nobody. Leave me alone.
Right.
This is me being my introverted self. Leave me the fuck alone. Why am I the fucking subject right now?
And he was wrong. Out of all the people on that list, for him to pick Meth, that list was like a mile long. And you pick like one of the nicest niggas we got and say that it's a no-brainer you would smoke him. That's why we all got upset. Like, out of everybody else on this list, you picked this nigga?
All right, when you got the phone call that he got punched in the mouth,
I didn't get a phone call.
You didn't get a phone call.
No,
About
I
the
didn't.
rape-
Well,
Oh.
kinda. Yeah, I did. Kinda. Yeah, I did. Go ahead, though. I'm listening.
how did you feel?
I was like, I told that nigga. No, I'm keeping it a buck. Me and Joe
Yeah.
I went to Jones Beach, all right? And I had just came from overseas. I flew right from overseas and went right to Jones Beach. This is where Ray was before. He was on the tour with them niggas. Slaughterhouse, Raekwon, I go right there. Right from the airport. Bags, everything still in there. I pull up, first niggas I see, MOP. Shout out Billy Dan.
Shout out Fame.
Nigga warring up on
That's
me
a
like,
big
yo,
bro.
niggas doing push-ups and shit. I was like, what you mean push-ups? He's like, Joe. I was like, word? Joe Budden doing push-ups and shit? I was like, oh, okay. All right, it's cool, whatever. We get to the side of the stage and shit. You know, a bunch of Staten Island niggas around because they know I'm here now. Now I was like, let's see what MECC gonna do. Joe approached. I'm like, God, why this nigga come over here?
not
Jesus.
now, yeah.
Like, damn, do he know that there's niggas over here hungry right now? You amongst wolves, nigga.
Yeah.
Don't do that. He had Crook with him. Niggas love Crook.
Yeah.
So he's trying to say something in my ear. I heard a couple of words, but then I see this white boy filming on his camera. So now my focus is there. I don't even hear what Joe's saying.
Yeah.
I go to snatch the shit out his head. Now I know the wolves is hungry because they start pounding on the nigga. Stop, fuck y'all doing? We in Long Island. Anybody know anything about Long Island?
Whoa.
Nigga, that shit is down South Island.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They'll
They'll
get
get
locked.
you.
For real, they'll
For
lose
real.
you out there, bitch. For real.
Word.
So, you know, whatever. Me and Joe, after that whole shit happened, because they disappeared. Smart. Good.
Like you do.
Yeah, you should. I would have did the same shit. I go to walk back towards the van, And Joe's over, Joe want to talk to you. Where you at? Okay, I'll go over here. We walk over there, we go behind the van. Now, Joe, you don't know this, but the whole time you was talking, I was gonna snuff you. But the reason why I didn't in that moment was because you said some real shit. You had said some real shit, and I don't know exactly what it was word for word and shit, but it was definitely something that made me think in that moment. Joe's a very smart motherfucker. Very smart motherfucker. Chess, not checkers.
Right.
And it got to a point where now it's like, I'm talking to him like, you a talented motherfucker, you know what I'm saying? You don't need to go this route with all that dumb shit and this, that, and the third. But I'm telling you, after this moment, if there's any more bullshit, my hands is tied. I remember. Did he? I don't know if he acknowledged that shit now that I think about it. I don't think he did, because later on that day, he did something, saying something. He did some kind of interview or some shit like that, or some freestyle or something. He named Deck and he named Ray, and this is what happened. That's when that shit happened, where they were in Cali, I believe, and I wasn't there, but from word of mouth, they walked in their dressing room, which wasn't locked, and somebody got smacked in the motherfucking face. He didn't get punched, he got smacked, but the nigga that hit him, hands is so fucking big and shit, like, he do this. He put hands on niggas and shit. Right. So, you know, it looked worse than what it actually was and shit. He just got smacked. Right. That was pretty much it. And that was, if anything, he had already gotten a warning shot when I told him, look, my nigga, just chill out. Stop it. Just stop that. You a talented motherfucker. You don't need to go that route. Just kill him with rhymes, whatever it is. Right. Still want to do the part.
Well, from my understanding, like, even when Ransom came on the show, they were like, yo, Joe, his competitive side, like, he pops off. Like, when they used to do those clue tape sessions and the freestyles and all that, they said Joe used to be in there talking the most shit to everybody.
Yeah, I think he came from that environment.
Right.
Where that's what niggas did, and it was never taken to a point where somebody put hands on somebody. You know, one of those environments, you know how niggas talk amongst each other and shit. They know shit, and you know, fuck you, bitch ass nigga. And in a different kind of setting though, those fighting words. Right. Period. But you know, you amongst your niggas. Right. And Joe, like I said, he's just a smart motherfucker, and that shit could have been so avoided. You know, because I spoke to him. Me and him spoke. He knows this shit. He spoke. We spoke. And me just keeping it a buck, being honest, keeping it 100. I want to punch him in his motherfucking face. And I'm pretty sure he knew that. That's what the push-ups was for. I'm just saying, I'm not trying to be funny, man. Come on, man. I'm not trying to be funny, man. For real, man. You know? But now me and Joe cool. Very cool, you know? And I get it. I get what Joey was doing. I get what he was doing in that moment, which was being an MC. Right. I'm better than. I'm better. You supposed to feel that way. I'm better than that. And you just said it. His competitive side rose to the. But then you got we're in the internet era now. Back in the day, that shit wouldn't have got no further than that. Right. We're in the internet era, so people egging, they throwing salt on it and shit like that, and he's responding because that's what he does. Right. You know what I mean? But he don't know I'm listening.
I think the internet thing, at first, it fucked a lot of people up.
In what capacity, though?
And you're talking to thousands of people in real time. You're receiving comments from people
in real time,
that you would have never, ever, like, you'll never cross paths with these people.
That's true. From a psychological standpoint?
On your Instagram, you post up a picture with whatever.
It's coming.
And you read those comments. Some of the people that's commenting, you will never, ever meet in life, bro.
But you know, that's
you know what I'm saying? So when people were exposed to that, and they realized, oh, I can say certain things, and I'll never meet them or whatever. A lot of trolling and instigating came out of that.
I don't think Joe does that. I think Joe speaks from his heart. Like, he has a lot of conviction in his words, man. Right. You know what I'm saying? It just, in certain circles, that shit don't fly. Yeah. It's like walking in that area and adapting to what it is in that room and in that space at the time. Right. What Joe didn't understand was more people loved me in that moment than they did him. Not saying they don't love him, but in that moment they loved me more than they loved him. He became the antagonist. So there it is.
Especially since he started it, literally.
Well, he didn't. He just had an opinion about him saying he was better than.
That's him starting it.
But the people egged him on. You not better, this, that. What, nigga? I could do this, that. I run circles. This is just him being competitive. You can't blame no man for that, because in that same space, I can't say I wouldn't have done the same fucking thing.
Right.
And then been like, after getting smacked, I wouldn't have got smacked though, pardon me. But after being confronted with all this fucking heat and all that shit, I would have been like, well, how the fuck did I get here? Now I gotta run it back.
Right.
I believe in competition without malice. I believe if you good, we should be able to compete.
I took it without malice.
Not you specifically.
Absolutely.
But this is something that I've always been trying to spread to MCs. You don't have to hate the man in order to go at his head and want to get him out of here.
That's been proven.
That's how it should be. Like, especially since your competition should be the top of the food chain. You shouldn't be aiming for undermath if you're a battle
feeling like
rapper.
you dissed me on the record that
I
we
couldn't
did.
believe that shit either, because you know what? No lie. All I did on that record was follow the rhyme pattern you used.
No, but it was what you said.
You ain't lived till you made your first million. And top models want to swallow your children.
So I get on there, I go first. I say, you ain't lived till you caught a licking boogie or made a chick eat another chick pussy. Now MECC comes on, you ain't lived till you made your first million.
And top models want
Want
to
to swallow
swallow
your children.
Yeah, okay. I told you Wu-Tang is for the
So
children.
B is like, yo, hold up.
But then it's I thought I told you
Hold
Wu-Tang
up.
was for the children way before rap moving crack in your buildings.
Yeah.
So he did.
So it's like he was bringing it
So you
back.
did it LL cannabis.
I should, but in that moment, I wasn't dealing with a battle rap. I was dealing with an MC. I
Right.
wasn't, but you was thinking battle rap,
Yeah.
entendres and things of that nature. I was just trying to keep
No,
up.
when I first got the verse, I sat there for a little while. I was like, one, yo, I got a verse for Method Man.
Dope.
That's fine.
Dope.
Two, I think he's dissing me. And three, I'm still gonna put this out.
Right.
So fuck it. I'm gonna smile, throwing this hoodie, da-da-da.
That's great.
Came through, shot the video.
Yeah, fact.
That's
think
why I
he
met
just
Yo, I
showed
wish we had shot a different video for that, man.
Well, I mean, in hindsight and shit.
In hindsight,
it's
I was
always gonna be
trying
like
and
that.
shit.
But the moment,
I had shirtless hoodies and shit,
it was a
man.
great fucking moment, man.
Yeah, it was.
I met Cortez.
Yeah.
I met
Tez.
fucking DNA.
Right.
Young DNA.
Young DNA.
I met Eric. I met Young DNA.
Yeah, Eric's.
No,
Right.
for real. Like, and I wasn't even familiar with DNA, but I knew who Mav was. I
Right.
knew who Cortez was. I had just seen one of his battles and shit. And I had asked their opinion who they thought was the dopest nigga. Hollow the Don, right? So I started watching all the Hollow.
Who told you that?
Y'all did.
And you ended up battling him.
You know, sometimes you do things for people that wouldn't do the same for you.
And then the subject of Bill Collector came up.
That's BC.
That's crazy.
my
That's dope.
nigga, yo.
And at first it was like, it took them to make me understand, because I went back and looked at him again and was like, this nigga is fire. I didn't get it at first.
Right.
But I was still young in the ears listening to this transition from what, Poison Pen and them niggas or the Lions Den was doing and Sub-Zero and all that shit was doing.
Deep free.
Right.
And it was, I just know that, and I'm about to give up my shit right now, but in that moment was when my hand got hot again. Really hot. Watching these dudes, watching their battles and shit like that, and I was
You felt like you lost it for a second?
No, I was just saying there's no place for lyricism anymore.
Oh, God.
Yeah,
And
it was
I was
different.
like,
It was
these
different.
guys are doing
We was moving into the
exactly
trap
what
era.
I love. So fuck
Yeah.
it. Now that I know that there's an audience there, I don't care if nobody else is listening. Let's see if they are. That's dope.
Have you ever
Fucking
felt like
dope.
you lost it?
Yeah. I'm telling you, there was a whole era where I was doing 4 fucking projects. My own, Wu-Tang, me and Redman, and then the occasional Swarm, Killer Bee, you know what I mean? Shit
Right.
like that.
Affiliates.
Right. And I was jotting. It was at a point where I hated the fucking studio. I hated writing in the studio, all that shit, because it was like I felt like I was on a clock. And Redman, the beat, I didn't go up in the booth.
Boom.
10 minutes. And the shit be fire.
One of my top 3 favorite all-time MCs.
Yeah, that nigga.
Ever in life.
Yo,
Yeah,
just-
shout to Red, man. Shout to Red.
and that was a
man.
lot, just being with him. And, he older than me by a year, too. Big bro. Taught me a lot of shit. A lot of shit about. And he would do it in slick ways, too, because we used to go out and do shows. And, I mean, as soon as I come out on stage, I would jump in the crowd. That take all the energy out the room because there's a lot of people that can't even fucking see you now. And he's standing up on stage and he's like, well, what the fuck I'm supposed to do? Why you down in the fucking crowd and shit, you know? So he did it in a slick way. We were on a tour bus. He was like, yo, come check this shit out right here. Run DMC. They were performing live. And he was like, you see how these motherfuckers? He was like, watch this part right here. And I remember because D was like, yo. Ron was saying to D, he was like, hey, yo, D, what's that on your head? That's my black hat. Mess around, you get capped. He was like, D, what's that on your back? That's my black shirt. Fuck around, you get hurt. I'm not doing this verbatim, but you know.
Right.
Like, D, what's that right there? That's my black belt. I take it off, give you welts. D, what's that? Black pants. Fuck around, I get a chance with. And D, what the fuck are those? My Adidas. Crowd was going crazy before he even said Adidas. I was like, yeah, Red is right. I'm gonna stop doing this dumb shit. Get my shit together, right? There you go. Shout out. Get my shit together. And even with slowing
Part of your
down.
religion, bro?
And even with slowing down my cadence enough where it's like, I can't get away with just jotting anymore. I'm like, coming behind this dude, I can't get it. But there was a moment where it was like, I was just jotting. I didn't even want to be in the studio. It was like quick bars. None of it was like concurrent sentences. None of that shit. It was just a bunch of wild and crazy thoughts all thrown on paper. It didn't work for me. People was like, he the worst one in the Wu-Tang. Meth has so much potential. Mr. Go back to where you once belonged.
You know what he said?
All that shit.
You know what he said? Who are the people that was saying that?
No, it was...
Because you said that on the first time you came on the show that you felt like you was the wackest in Wu-Tang. I'm like, what?
I remember reading Ego Trip, which I respected, and a magazine which I respected. And they had a lot of opinions that I agreed with, you know? And it was one thing in there, they were talking about rappers with potential that never, or rappers... I just know that with Method Man, it was like, they called me Mr. Potential. And he said, it gave like some synopsis, but the shit that I remember, because I put it in the rhyme, was get back to where you once belonged. And that right there was like, you know what? They right, because I used to love sitting down and writing. Now it became a job to me. It was like every time I turned around was another record. I mean, I didn't get a summer or a vacation because we would record these albums during the summer and be touring at the same time.
Yeah.
When I did my first album, Wu-Tang was on tour promoting Into the 36 Chambers. But Def Jam wanted their fucking record.
Right.
Now the only thing that fucked that shit up, because I had records, RZA had a flood in his house.
They killed his ride.
Everything. So I'm making, regardless of how people feel about my first album, if they knew the process that it went through to go through, that I went through to make that motherfucker, that's a 5 mic one easily. It's like somebody losing all their music 5 minutes before they got a show, and they improv the rest of the shit and still kill the fucking show.
That's crazy.
For real. I'm talking, we were on the road, no data, none of that shit. RZA had to remake beats and shit like that, and when we would leave the stage and these dudes was going doing they 1 2 1 2 after, you know, well known now, I was in the studio. Right after that, I go right in the studio and I'm in there till like 3, 4 in the morning, but we got radio at 6. That kind of shit. But for me, it never hit me in my head that this is too much, because before that, I was hustling in the same spot every day.
Right.
In the same fucking spot, this same fucking little fucking area right here. Watching niggas get bagged there every day, hoping it ain't my day to day.
Right.
Niggas getting shot there, standing right there with one just whistle right by your ass, and you say, okay, I was lucky that day kind of shit. And not even thinking about it. This destructive ass behavior that we were fucking, I can't even find the words for that shit.
Hypnotized.
Well, not even
bred into.
Where we've been acclimated. Acclimated to a point where niggas will hear one gunshot, niggas won't flinch. But if 2, 3, 4 come behind that, now it's like, okay, where that shit coming
what's that?
from?
Right.
Identify.
That's just us. Niggas, one thing that Joey noticed that Fat Joe did, and I told him it's some street shit. Every time somebody came through that door, Joe was like this.
Yeah, he was looking.
Every time.
Yeah.
When they was first coming around doing interviews with us on the block and shit, it was like I never looked at nobody when I was on the block. It was like I was always like this.
Looking up?
Because
and looking down.
because it's either cops or customers.
Yeah.
Either or, cops or customers. You talking to the nigga right here and shit, but it's more or less like this. You never turn your back to the fucking street.
Wow.
Ever.
Ever.
Not in them areas.
Not talk to no camera.
So the idea of getting away from that,
I was
being in the studio till 3 in the morning.
I had only been on a plane once before Wu-Tang. Once. And when we flew to Cali, I had never been to California. This was my first time in Cali. We stayed at that shitty ass Roosevelt Hotel and all that shit.
What was that Cali weed experience like the first time?
We didn't get any. We didn't get any at first. I mean, we that first little shit, when we were staying there, we went to the Glam Slam Princess Club out there. It was a very famous club and shit. Stood outside, never got in. Whole crew. Wow. By the time we did get in though, oh, come on. It was like awesome. The fat boys getting in the fever, my nigga. Like, yeah, we popping down. What's happening? I'm in the Glam Slam. What's good? Yeah. That matter of fact, that picture of me and Fat Lip. That was in the Glam Slam.
Wow.
I remember that.
I met Curtis Blow that night too. Kurt Blow, and I always gave Curtis fucking love. Always gave Curtis love. I got a million stories, you know that shit. I gotta use the bathroom now. I gotta pay the water bill.
All right, we're gonna take a break. Bro, so we was just talking about this. Two ladies was outside, we talking.
Yeah.
Bigger pointed out, I'm just like, yo, I think she over there recording. I look, I'm like, those are the ladies who had the posters.
On the wall.
Factory settings.
Yeah. Meth walks over, he hugged her. She was like, yo, I had a stroke, but I still walked over here. My friend said she saw you. And
love. Real love.
Absolutely.
Started crying and shit.
Yeah, facts.
That happened in a long time. I felt like KC from Jodeci, nigga. I was about to hit her with a hoo yeah.
She would have lost it.
She like, yo, I just survived one stroke. Don't give me another.
real.
You would have started singing lyrics from All I Need. It would have been over.
Over.
Oh,
God.
Damn, I love this fucking show. Expert opinion, motherfucker. If you ain't here, you ain't nowhere, bitch.
You heard?
It's serious hip hop moments like that
Yeah.
that make you reflect on what we're putting out to the people.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And how much they idolize you, look up to you. You know,
Regardless
things
to how
like
you look
that,
at yourself.
You know what I'm saying?
There's some people out there.
Yeah, you know, how are we affecting
It becomes bigger than you.
the people?
Yeah.
Because you create a moment that lives in the backdrop of somebody's life for the rest of their
Absolutely.
life.
And this is why a lot of artists, especially let's just call them creatives. A lot of creatives do a lot of philanthropy.
Yeah.
Or they do a lot of, they do the charity work or they start organizations. So to feel fulfilled, especially when the creative side just doesn't fill your heart anymore.
Right.
So absolutely right.
I mean, I always tell people, when people are like, yo, you mind if I get a pill? I'm like, yo, this is what I worked for.
Yeah, go for it.
Yeah.
Let's get it.
Yes. All right, so let's get to it. I want to get to this muscle. Let's get to this muscle.
We have my man,
Yeah.
Sticky Fingaz on the show.
Queens get the money.
You ain't gonna be saying that in a minute. Just let you know.
Be saying that for life.
And I said, they were talking about battling,
Yeah.
and I was like, who would y'all battle?
Yeah.
Somebody, I think it was either them or somebody in the room suggested
I
Red
said
and Meth.
Red and Meth. I said they should battle Red and Meth.
And Sticky was like, nah, I bodied them on the track already. And I said, oh. I said, Scooby-Doo? Where are you? Word?
All right.
We talked about this on the bar.
All right, let me ask this. Let me ask one question.
Right.
What was in the cups?
This.
That was in the cups.
yeah.
Okay. All right, now I have a better outlook. Now I can give you my rebuttal here.
Right.
First of all, Sticky, Onyx as a whole, they
Amazing.
changed the way I looked at hip hop.
Facts.
Big facts.
Facts.
Fashion-wise, everything.
Everything.
Sticky, as an MC, we used to wait for Sticky Fingaz verses. The same way we used to wait for a Busta Rhymes verse. Not saying the other two niggas was whack. It was just that.
He was
we
the
wanted to hear
anchor.
that,
Yeah.
Yes.
Right.
With that being said, and I'm gonna keep it a buck here, there was a moment in my pen game where even I felt weak, regardless to anybody else's opinion about it.
Right.
And Sticky might have caught one of the moments. Now, if he can tell me which record it was that he bodied us on,
Right.
we can put it out there for public opinion.
Sticky!
We can put it out there for public opinion,
Hold on,
and
wait,
people can decide themselves.
Wait.
And I hope it's not, what is that? What was the song we did? Wu-Tang
Yeah,
and Onyx.
Judgment Night?
Tell me
Nah,
about that
Judgment Night.
session, because I heard you guys were the last 2 guys in the studio.
I believe so, and I was fucked up that day. Fucked up. So I was jotting, again, I ain't gonna even lie.
Mentally
And
or on?
I was smoking
fucked-
and alcohol.
and drinking, okay.
Yeah. What was the name? The Worst was the name of it.
Yeah, The Worst.
First things
The
first, man. You're fucking with the
Right.
worst.
And this was my first time meeting X1.
Okay.
No, it's right, X1.
Yeah, X1.
Okay.
Yeah.
X1.
And I didn't even know he part of the group and shit, but apparently he had been a part of the group for a fucking while and shit. So we all vibing in there. And like I said, I love these niggas. So it gets to a point now where hours is passing by and I ain't wrote shit on the paper. But I'm in there with Onyx niggas, my niggas and shit.
Right.
So by the time I get in the booth, like I said, I was jotting. And if you ask my opinion on that record, me and Sticky had the worst verses. The nigga that killed that shit was Sin.
Yeah.
Killer Sin killed that shit.
He went crazy on that.
As far as the whole record go, it's a good record. But me and Sticky, I don't think we had not even close to the best verses on that record. I'll give him that. But was his verse better than mine? I don't know. I'll leave that for public opinion. I wouldn't put myself out there like that because every MC...
No, it wasn't that record because he said, unless he was talking about a record he did with you and then another record he did with Redman.
Because he didn't do a record with me and Redman at the same time.
Okay.
Oh, matter of fact, you know what? I think it might have been that, get it up, Ice on your boy, pick it up.
Yeah.
That was a hard-ass fucking record, Sticky. My gosh, I couldn't wait to get on that phone. When I heard they was doing a remix, I wasn't even supposed to be on it. I just showed up. Doc told me and shit, I just showed up.
He's like, nah, I'm getting
Speaking
on
of
this.
verses,
I'm so hot to death, I'll probably get shot to death. Come on, Sticky. That was fire
Is that
right
his
there.
solo?
But how do I feel? Y'all want to know how I feel about it?
Yeah, how do you feel about it
How
now?
do I feel about it now?
Yeah.
Like I said to you on the phone, I love Onyx. Bless those boys. Bless those guys. I wish them nothing but the best. Love
Man,
and light.
I hear you, man.
Love and light.
I hear you, man.
Love and light,
But you
man.
know what? You've been rapping like you got something to prove, bro.
Absolutely.
Like, it's been wild.
Feels like I'm making up for lost time for all those years I was jotting. I feel like I owe these people that shit.
Ever since your joint, ever since you going back and forth with Black Thought on how it feels like you turned the corner.
Oh, it's before that.
No.
Because, but I just didn't hear the joints. I actually, when I stopped cursing, it was, I was doing a commercial for, this happened before that. I don't know, something happened where I had to do a record where there was no cursing in it. And it was like, you know what? I'm mad that they don't want me to curse, but I'm still gonna try and make it the hardest shit I ever wrote.
Right.
Without the curses. And it was still hard. And I was like, wow, you know what? Let me just, for my own personal, to make it more interesting for me, because like I said, I was getting tired of writing, let me try to take all the curse words out. Took all the curse words out. And I remember I was supposed to do a song for Sour Patch Kids. And there was no curses in it when I sent it to them. And they were like, can he be a little bit harder, maybe throw a few curse words in there? She was like, oh shit.
But
like,
Sour Patch Kids?
Sour Patch Kids, yeah. They wanted me, like,
They wanted you to be sour.
They wanted me to be sour. And, I did the best I could, but I still didn't curse. I stuck with that shit. And I remember telling Buster in the studio, and this was like, I had only written like 2 rhymes without curses in it. And I remember seeing Buster in the studio, and I was telling him, look, I don't curse in my rhymes no more, blah, 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 this, that, and the third. And in my head, I'm saying to myself, like, damn, now I gotta stick to it. Let's see what happens. And for some reason, it made me think a little more, be a little bit more intricate with my word choices.
Right.
And it improved me.
But do you ever get to a line and you be like, damn,
There's
fucking
been plenty
would
of
rhyme
it.
perfectly right there.
There's been plenty of fucking lines where, bitch would have fit perfect right there, and shit, and nigga, no nigga, none of that shit at all.
Wow.
None of it.
I didn't know if that counted towards the
It
curse.
does.
That's
It
like
does.
my go-to.
In my opinion, any word that my kids couldn't say around me, I didn't use.
Fair.
yo, speaking of verses, we had Rock Wilder here.
Uh-huh.
And, the Rock Wilder song.
Yeah.
And the,
Funny story.
Yeah, he said there was 4
2 extra verses.
2 extra verses.
verses.
Incomplete.
And they said that the studio's holding it hostage. They wouldn't let it go, something to that
I
effect.
saw Rock in on that. I don't know. He might be right though. He might be right.
Because I asked him why was it so short, even though it was
Right.
it's perfect.
Red didn't like it. He didn't like the beat.
He didn't like the beat?
Rockwilder is their baby.
Yeah.
Eric Sermon, let me tell you how the tree go. EMP, right? To branch off from that, K-Solo, Redman,
Das Effects.
Das Effects. Now I'm on the P side, that's Das Effects. Then even Craig Mack was with them for a minute.
Yeah.
Right.
Then you get the Keith Murray. Whatever, fuck, I ain't going through that whole list.
Yeah.
But, damn, I done lost it again.
Jamal, Hurricane G, down
all the way down.
Rockwilder.
Right.
Him being the baby.
And Rockwilder was always there, but you know how you make your first 2 beats and shit, and he's like, I'll go back to the lab, nigga. And Doc kind of, him and Rockwilder made a lot of beats on his There's the Dark Side, I believe, album. And that's when I think Rock found himself. But it was through that, not exactly tutelage, but like, nah, nigga, that ain't hard type shit that made him go back to the lab and work on his craft a bit more and shit.
Right.
But what was the question about Rock?
He said
the 4 verses. I don't know about any 4 verses.
You said
shit.
Red didn't like the.
But Red didn't like the joint, and I attribute that shit to being, you know, this is my baby. I know he can do better.
And he also said
And-
you started too early on the song.
Well, me?
Yeah. But that's how you wrote.
No,
you
but
were
that's
like,
how I wrote it.
you
I wanted
said.
to come in 4 bars
Yeah.
because I hate because Eric. Like I said, you do a joint with AE double, it never sounds the same after you did it. And shit.
Yeah. Right.
But I always like that drop, and what hip hop. That's another thing hip hop lost in those records. We used to fucking do drops.
Yeah.
Like where all the music drop and you still killing it, then the music come back. We used to wait for them shits like that.
Facts.
Rock and rollers still do it. It's like a formula for them to do that shit. They don't do that shit no more and shit. So I found a pocket that I wanted to get in, whether it was long enough or not. I don't even know. I didn't even know how many bars I did on that shit. When I was writing the Bring the Pains and all that shit, I wasn't counting bars. I didn't know how to count bars. It wasn't like niggas was doing that shit.
Right.
Who cut you off? Who stopped you?
It just stopped when I felt like this is where it ended.
Right.
And everything you wrote, they kept.
Yeah.
That explains how Old Dirty ended up with one big ass long verse for Brooklyn Zoo, and we never realized. I remember being today years old when I realized that there was no. It's all one verse, and then into the hook, but there's like no bridge, no nothing. It's literally one big ass verse, and that shit fucked me up.
But there's no hook.
Yeah,
that's just him looping. Shame on you.
Yeah.
If you look at a bunch of Wu-Tang records, it's not a slight against my crew and shit, but a lot of our titles didn't match the fucking song.
At all. Ever.
Yeah, y'all was
Ever.
like you were like y'all were like the opposite of Tupac.
Come on, bro.
Tupac, if you knew the name of the song, then you knew the hook.
No, Tupac take a phrase and that was the name of the song.
Yeah, that was
there
it.
you go.
Meanwhile, you niggas Uzi, Pinky Ring.
No. It wasn't like that. But like Iron Maiden.
Uzi, Pinky Ring. Yeah.
Oh shit.
That's the name of the record. I'm not making that. That's an actual fucking
Black
record.
Shampoo. I mean.
And the internet era, it's hard as hell to find them records.
Yeah.
Cause you're like, damn, what they said this. Oh, that ain't the name. What is it?
Yeah.
Man, I mean, but to bring it back to Onyx, my brothers, they showed a lot of people how to perform too. They electric on stage. Yeah. So if it was a battle, verbally, word for word, back and forth, I haven't heard them. So I wouldn't even judge them and say something like, I'll murder them or some shit, because I haven't heard them. And like I said, we used to wait for Sticky Fingaz verses and shit, so I will not ever sleep on an MC.
Which is crazy to me, because I felt like Frejo could have been the third verse plenty of times.
Yeah, absolutely. Frejo say some shit. He's like, man.
Fresh shit sound different now. Like when the same verses I listen to now versus listening to back then, because I'm with him. Sticky was always an anchor. But they did that bass, just the regular bass, the acapella, the acoustic version of like one of them records.
Last Days?
They did 2. I heard Slam and I heard that one. But when I heard Frejo's verse from Last Days over the acoustic, and I'm listening to the shit he's saying, my corrupted is conducted through ghetto, sipping Amaretto, the hand on the metal, foot on the pedal,
never settle. We want Carolina, Herrera, dirty Donna Karan sweaters, rubber letters and slaves, go play the guns and grenades.
That's why I would never come on here and say some shit like I body them niggas. I love you, bro. I love you, bro.
But what's wrong with the competitive?
Nothing at all.
Right.
Nothing at all. I just won't use those words.
Right.
You know what I mean? I'd be like, yeah, by all means, you know, niggas, you know, they probably get it in and shit. Me and Doc is definitely gonna get it in.
Right.
Absolutely. But
Oh, I
we're
gotta
not
hear
gonna
this.
put.
I gotta
But
hear
we're
this.
not putting that in the air.
We're not
my
putting
battle
it in the
career,
air?
my battle career dead. After math, it was like math. I'm dead on this. I retired.
Oh.
So make records.
What up? No, I'm fucking with you.
My
nigga.
So
My
make
nigga.
records though. If you ain't gonna battle, just make records.
That's what I do.
We would love to hit. Like
Yeah,
That's
that
what I
would
do.
be.
I mean, we've done records with them before, and I would never rule that out. I would love to do a whole album with myself and Redman with different duos. Smith and Wesson.
I like that.
Sticky
Corrupt and Daz and Corrupt.
If we can get,
MOP.
if we can get Capone and Noriega to speak and shit.
If
They
you
niggas,
get-
but they don't speak like
Yeah.
that.
if you get Outkast to come out, for
Outcast.
that,
Yo,
that could happen. I
That
can
would
make
be,
that happen.
yeah.
you got to get Dre to rhyme again.
I can make
Three
that happen.
stacks?
You've been rhyming.
You got to get Dre to come, dude. If
I
you
can do that.
Please and thank
I
you.
think I can do that.
That would be insane.
3 stacks and meth.
Oh, 3 stacks, Big Boy, Red, and Meth. Like
But
that.
that would
I'm
be-
here for that.
Like the marketing to kind of bring us into that time period where we could say, yeah, you can have a rap career for 20, 30 years.
Yeah. Why not?
Like these rock and roll guys, like these other
not?
genres.
Why
you know
not?
what I mean?
Yeah.
I think after a while, like, I don't know,
I mean,
the same way you felt like you were phased out.
Well,
but you came to a
it
point.
had other things
Right.
played a part in it too. You know, mistakes
Right.
on my part, mismanagement, not paying attention to certain things, worried about the wrong shit. But yeah, you're absolutely right.
I feel like it's the time for that.
Yeah.
There was one other thing I wanted to ask you though, is how come, all right, we know the game that some companies might play, executives or whatever, you know, it's a business, they're thinking business first. But a lot of the best artists that are out now were signed by artists.
Wow. Let me think about that. Okay,
Why-
Technically Puffy wasn't an artist when he signed Big, so no.
He was a
that's
creator.
Yeah. He's a creator. Yeah. Wow.
Well, we talking about the J. Coles, the Drakes, the Nickies.
Yes. And
You
J.
know what I
Cole's
mean?
camp. I love his camp. Fucking Earth Gang. Niggas cold.
yeah.
Niggas cold.
Yeah, Cold World.
Shit.
They made me mad
why?
because they said that shit about taking hip hop too seriously.
What you mean taking it?
Those were their words. It was like you niggas up north take hip hop too seriously.
But it's true.
I mean,
It's true.
and
21
they-
said the same thing. We started arguing about whether I could body
Be nice.
that demo on the track. And he was like, see, that's some New York shit. We don't worry
Yo,
about
you
that
an
shit.
ill nigga, son.
Yeah.
Man,
You
he-
just did the whole, yo.
He got this
Yo.
motherfucker talented, nigga. This is a talented motherfucker right here, nigga.
But
Yo.
that's what he did.
And that's how, when Andre said, the most powerful shit I said in war shows when Andre 3000 said, all
The
I know
South
is the
got
South got
something to
something to say. What we didn't realize in our conceitedness or, being the home of it,
Hubris.
that these guys all knew each other.
Ethnocentric.
These guys all knew each other. And I'm not just talking about just ATL. ATL fuck with Houston and Tennessee.
New
and all
Orleans.
these niggas know each other. And doing records together
Jackson.
and
Right.
shit. So when that explosion happened, it was like we've all worked together before. Certain lines were drawn with gang lines and things like that, but all these niggas know each other.
Sure.
Whereas in New York, it's like, nigga, I'm better than you. Well, I mean, niggas fuck with each other and shit, but
Right.
it wasn't fucking with each other. We didn't fuck with anybody outside of that shit, really. There were a few people that might have did it. Damn, can you name one? Somebody
did
that
what?
went and from, not my era, but, let's say like Kane in them era, who bridged that gap and went over to, let's say, did something with a West Coast artist?
Definitely y'all.
Yeah.
But before us.
What?
But that wasn't even intentional.
Because I did something with Spice One personally by myself and shit, and I happened to walk in on his studio session.
Right.
That happened to me a lot. I walk in on a nigga's studio session, next thing I know I'm on a record.
Right.
I did that with Showbiz and AG. Walked in
I
on the
was just
studio
with
session
AG,
and Chunk
yeah.
King.
Lord Finesse.
Lord Finesse. Ooh, nigga.
Or Finesse. What records?
The first
Wrecking the whole album.
The whole fucking
album.
first album. Now this was another lesson for me.
Good cast.
And this is why I use so many fucking cadences when I rhyme. I like to match the melodic parts of the beat. Sometimes I'll rhyme to the drum, sometimes the melody, just to throw people off. We used to, like, that Lord Finesse, that first album hit like LL's first album. When we got that shit, that was our blueprint of how we gonna fucking rhyme. I remember LL's whole cadence and everything was, I'm gonna riffing number, niffing gumber, taking my line, then done the different number, saving it down. Rhyming those 2 words and then have his rhyming word. Then rhyming those 2 words with these ones.
Yeah.
Run bit that shit. I remember when Run bit it. It was on the Raising Hell album. I was like, wait a minute, Run done changed his whole fucking cadence up. This shit fucking crazy. But anyway, when this fucking album dropped, Lord Finesse, like it was like Punchline King.
Yeah.
We sitting here listening to greatness, even Andre the Giant off one fucking song. One fucking song. And that one line, oh my, Andre's a jolly green, man. I was like, this nigga was fucking crazy. And I was writing it.
Punchline wise, like he was crazy.
Yeah. And this is when we used to listen to that shit on the way uptown. To go re-up, come back, listening to that shit.
Wow.
But then it hit me. It was like, that next album came and it was like, damn, same cadence. Oh wow, every record. And then the punchlines weren't as potent anymore. Cause now it's like, I figured you out. I'm not gonna rhyme like that. Das Effects, same thing. But what Das did, Das could really fucking rhyme.
The second album, they let it go. The second album, they stopped doing the stuff.
Because
Took their
I
shit.
have to agree with a lot of the newer artists saying everybody, that 90s era wasn't as hard as everybody thought it was. Cause there was so many fucking acts that came out that we don't even fucking remember. Just put 90s hip hop, 90s hip hop, boom bap, and you will see like niggas we don't even fucking think of and shit.
Yeah.
But so many whack fucking records that were blueprints taken from Das Effects, blueprints taken from I remember a nigga named Joe Sinister.
Oh, sounds just like Redman.
Exactly like Redman.
And he had bars. That was the worst part.
Very weird though.
Yeah,
Weird as
definitely.
fuck.
But I remember Joe Sinister. When
This was
he
the
first came
niggas
out.
thought that it was cool to worship the devil and shit like that. You know what I mean? There was like a lot of that shit
I
going
think
on.
I remember this.
People
too.
Under the Sun.
I think I remember.
That was the name of the single.
People up under the sun.
Yeah.
Right.
All that bust with my trust. Niggas to dust. I bust rhymes to ice like just. I smoke dust. I get biz to go off and smoke rappers who can't blow up July 4th.
hip-hop.
Jam the raps in the family.
He's hip-hop.
Shack Attack. I wreck. Sounds like Rodan. Like yeah, nigga was not, get lifted like a gym set. Hit the deck. I got more
You can't
milk
even
than
find
weight
that
checks.
record now.
I still got
Can't
it.
even.
I got it on cassette.
I can't even
though.
get it on YouTube.
Cassette?
Yeah.
You got cassette player in your house?
I ain't say I could play it. I just said I got cassette.
But it was so many, even when Wu-Tang came out, I remember a lot of crews came out. And I'm not saying they're whack or anything like that, but it was like Crumb Snatchers. Y'all remember them?
I remember them.
What was their name? Rumpelstiltskin. Remember them? Those
My
was my
attitude
guys.
is fucked up.
Yeah,
real
those was
shitty.
my guys.
That was
you had what was their name? Something Breed, Raw Breed. Remember those guys? So many, man. And for every Fat Boys, there was a Skinny Boys. For every EPMD, Mighty JVC Force. I used to love those. I was a Long Island nigga, heart and soul. Granddaddy IU. Fucking
Big Daddy Kane.
JVC Force. Kane was.
No,
He
I'm
was
saying
claiming Brooklyn,
he
though,
was
but
Kane's
yeah.
kid. Granddaddy IU was like Kane's kid.
Yeah,
he was
there you
nice
go.
too.
But then you had Rel. That was Rakim's kid. Remember Rel? Philly.
Here's what I say about 90s hip hop. When people start questioning me about it and say it wasn't as hard as, listen, here's the difference between us and y'all. Everybody was trying to do something new. It was a race to get to the new thing. Nobody wanted to follow it. Even people who were biting were blatantly biting, and we knew it, and we called them on it. Like you didn't get away with it. We knew Dana Dame didn't actually have a British accent.
We knew that
when he was rhyming like slick. We knew Granddaddy IU got his whole shit from Big Daddy Kane.
though.
But then
just the same. Like we knew what it was, but everybody was trying to get to something new,
early 90s
something
is
different.
late
I
80s,
feel the
early
same way about
90s.
battle rap. I feel like the early everybody had their own style.
I agree.
And then after a while, it was like
agree.
a cookie cutter type of thing. Just everybody
The
just following the
PG
same.
But
one
that's-
two step.
Right.
In the early 90s,
Y'all niggas
somehow
can't. I
hip-hop
did
got
not get that
infiltrated.
shit at first, and then
No.
when I got it, I
Yeah.
was dying. I
That
was
shit
cracking the
crazy.
fuck up. PG step. I'll twist your motherfuckers.
I hated that
Every dude
shit. I
was doing
hated
it.
that shit.
I hate this shit now.
Click, click.
Oh,
The twerk. The twerk
but,
fingers.
but I like when
Twerk
Twerk
fingers?
did it. But
Yeah.
that, you know, I'm like, who do that? Like, who got the
Who
pistol?
got the burner
who
like
do
this?
that?
Yo.
Who do they pistol like that?
Get off my block.
Like, you know, I've seen like, you know, westerns and they, you know, those
Yeah.
dudes just sweat, bam, you know what I
Yeah.
mean, bam. But nobody they do this before they pull it out. So maybe that's where it's from.
Yeah,
But
maybe.
it's not here.
But it's not.
But
yeah.
shaky hands.
Like, nigga, like,
If a
I don't
nigga
wanna-
doing this, I'm
I
not
don't know.
afraid.
Like,
Hold up.
Yeah,
Nigga,
I'm not afraid of this.
I'm not
Nigga,
doing this.
I don't want to do it to you, nigga. Look at that. I don't want to do it to you. You gonna do what you make me do. Fuck.
So
Shot
there
the
was
car tire out.
There was a stretch you couldn't even go around without somebody saying the llama. I'm like,
Yeah,
God.
it was too much.
I like that. I like llama. I like
The
that.
can.
I like ratchet. We used to say Thule. Remember niggas
Yeah.
say the Thule?
No, but the slang opens up. New slang opens up for other bars, other
Right.
punchlines. After a while,
That's true.
if there isn't
This
any
is
new
true.
slang, it just gets repetitive. Like,
Again,
like
the race to something new.
Something new.
It's what birthed Tribe Called Quest. Everybody was making records they went to the jazz and started picking out of the jazz crate. Everybody was trying to get something new.
You know what? I would not be surprised in the next 5 years niggas don't even rhyme anymore. Not like the words don't rhyme no more. And somebody's gonna, and it's gonna become a
been
thing.
kinda doing that,
that's
man.
been
They already
that's
tried.
been
Yeah.
happening.
Yeah, they already tried.
It's
Word.
been happening.
I'd be like, what the
Yo,
fuck are you saying?
rest in peace. Prodigy was a master at that. He was a master at I'm a talk, and you're just gonna
Prodigy rhymes was how he talked to you.
right.
Look here, nigga. Prodigy, nigga.
Word.
I smack the shit
Shit
out
out
your
you,
mama,
nigga.
nigga. That kind of shit. Like, that's how P talk to you. Shout out P, man.
Word. Shout
Damn.
out, rest in peace, P, man.
A group.
Is there a group since y'all came out that came close to resembling what Wu-Tang did?
There's been a lot of them,
Like-
but not at the
with the
Not at the
amount-
at the
level.
height. You can't. Lightning ain't gonna strike twice.
No, of course
You know.
not.
But the thing that with us was we weren't. Because Master P and them had a movement. You gotta look at that too.
Yeah.
Right? Then you gotta look at Cash Money.
Cash.
Even Diddy when they was coming up. Same shit.
Right.
Everybody has a
But
movement.
what I'm talking about, like, let's just say even the ASAP mob, where they had Rocky, Ferg, them dudes rapping, like something like.
I would like to think we inspired some shit like that.
Yeah.
But in the same vein, these little niggas is. Black people as a whole are fucking amazing, man.
Yeah.
We do some amazing
Talk about
fucking
it.
shit, man.
Talk about it.
Those little niggas, they nice because they nice. That shit
course.
got shit to do.
Do with it.
And, you know,
I'm not
maybe,
saying inspired.
maybe that unity thing.
Yeah.
We kind of pushed that agenda because I always felt like, you know, always gonna be strength in numbers. And niggas always feel that way, but then it's always one little weak link in the chain or some jealous nigga that just fucks everything up and now
JR.
don't nobody want to
Junior
fuck with
Reese.
nobody no more. And people be thinking that shit about Wu-Tang. Them niggas don't fuck. We fuck with each other. Our kids,
How would y'all
our
avoid,
kids
how did
grew
y'all
up
avoid
together.
That? How did
Yeah.
y'all avoid that?
Yeah.
Building. That's all.
That simple.
Yeah.
Just a bunch of phone calls all the time.
Talking to niggas on, you know, there's times where Jamela hit me, Master Killer. Peace, Jamel. Yo, I just wanted to call you, say I love you, Lord. You good? How the family? Yeah, everybody good and shit? All right, then. I see you. Huh? You know? And when I don't see ghosts, you God's kids are my nephews. You know what I'm saying? Like blood. Like that. His baby mother and my wife are sisters.
Oh,
Ghostface, his kids, same shit. They was raised around my kids, and I see them a lot to this day. You know, so I mean,
So y'all
those
was
bonds,
just living the
are
lyrics.
forever. And it's like having family members that live in different states. You know, you want to check them every now and then.
Right,
shit.
right, right,
And
right.
then when y'all all see each other,
It's like y'all never left.
all right.
Yeah.
my
Beautiful.
C's married his
That
C's.
Wu-Tang
Right.
picnic
Yeah,
gonna be
yeah.
crazy.
But see, I
All
like
up in the family.
I like it now because dudes ain't see I like when we get a little space from each other and don't see each other for a while and shit. Because I've been on my, so I like coming around dudes. Now. You know, got a little power contract coming around dudes like what's happening.
Man,
Yeah.
if you want to help bridge the gap between the youth and the grown. I don't want to put like extra pressure on, but you're one of the guys who's gonna have to help usher that in.
Well,
What's the name said to Q-Tip? When we had Q-Tip in here, he talked about having a conversation with Tyler the Creator. And Tyler told him, I need you to
Put out
come
something
out
new.
because
Yeah.
I need to see what being fly at 50 looks like.
Yeah.
Right.
And you are the guy for a lot of
how the
us.
fuck did? Okay, go ahead. I'm
You are the
Dog.
guy for so many of us hip hop heads who came up at Hot Wax and Fat Beats and all them spots. When we want to know what the next thing looks like. You know what I'm saying? When you hit your 30s and you want to see what
Wow.
the 40s looks
I've
like.
never
When you
heard
hit
it
your
in
40s,
words.
you want to see what the 50s
But this
look
is it. This is the
it.
ground. This is the ground.
You talk about rock
this is-
music. You talk about how rock music
there
is
you
able
go.
to evolve. It's because the people who run that culture also run the industry. That's why one generation, Pops, will have his son in there, and they know the name of the drummer, they know the name of the guitarist. We are entering now our phase where there are hip hop grandparents, hip hop parents, hip hop kids. Everybody will be listening to the same album in the house. Grandma, mom, and kid will all have the brand new Kanye West. There are artists who transcend those generations.
Right.
And now is the time where we, from mid 30s to early 50s, we all looking to see what that's supposed to look like.
I never thought of it like
And,
that.
and that's why the disconnect that's happening in hip hop, it's moving so fast. There's no reference point, like MECC said. You are the reference point. Think about it. You've been the reference point since 91. You showed niggas how to maneuver at 20 with the hairstyle, the rap flow. Then when you hit your 30s, you were showing us.
Ignorance is bliss, man.
You were
See,
showing
never-
us that.
you don't know about
Now,
all this shit
now
when
you
you're doing it.
50, dog. Every time Power comes on Sunday, you are trending. Every girl is posting you on the
I
timeline.
don't be on the Twitter though. I don't really.
No,
be
I'm
on
talking
Twitter.
about on fucking Instagram.
Even on the Instagram. I don't
Bro,
really.
are you kidding me? When
Yo.
you danced around in your underwear, I wasn't on the gram for 3 days. There's a girl right now that wants me to get a drop from me. If I FaceTime her right now, she's gonna leave her nigga. Should I wait, hold on.
Fold
Hold on.
Oh shit.
Yo.
Oh shit.
Yo. I'm doing a show right now.
Oh shit.
And this guy wanted to know which record it was that you bodied him on. Oh, you gotta turn the camera around. You gotta turn it around.
What's up, my nigga? What's up, my nigga? What's happening, my nigga?
Hold on, let's get.
Yeah, he didn't know it was me at first till he seen that. Yeah. Sticky, let me start this off by saying I love you, brother. Love and light. You already know, we go way back like DJ Clue's hairline. You
Oh man, he gonna call niggas.
know what I mean?
Why?
Shout out to
Then we go even further than that, nigga.
Oh shit.
Listen, man, don't do it. Stop.
Oh, Stick, you know what it is, nigga. You already know what it is.
Let me tell you something about Meth, right?
Yeah.
Meth, out of every motherfucker I ever worked with in the entire fucking planet Earth, this nigga is there from the beginning to the fucking ending.
Told you.
You did the same thing when we shot the video.
And
No?
that nigga there.
Yes.
Yeah.
I love you, Stick.
There.
Love
So,
you, bro.
Listen, I'm a fucking sorceress, right? Hey, I'm not gonna Nick Cannon this shit and not answer the question. From the beginning to the end. Alright?
You want to know what my answer was, Stick? I was like, it probably could have happened. It probably could have happened and shit, but we was both trash on the worst. I'm sorry. I ain't like neither one of our verses on the worst. That's what I told him.
Did I say the worst?
No, hell no, you
Nah.
didn't say the worst. I was just picking one that I knew of.
Rewind the tape. I
But-
said the worst.
But you know what one I did say, though? I said, give it up. Get it up. I said, get it up.
On the worst.
It was Get It Up?
It was it might have been Get It Up, Sticky.
It's the real shit. Don't take my credit away. And you know what? Also, with the realest shit ever. I said, you know what? I would never disclose that information.
My nigga! Salute!
What the fuck?
Yo, Stick.
Ever. He in the zone.
We going. We ain't leaving no soldiers behind. And I've been there before too, bitch.
Yeah, I already know.
The worst.
Yeah,
Right?
yeah.
Come on, man.
And that was my mom's birthday when we shot that shit. My mom's 50th birthday.
Wow.
Wow.
You know what I mean? When I left the set, I went right to my mother's 50th birthday. I was late as a motherfucker, but I did that for y'all, man.
Word.
Facts. We did that for us.
And I love you for it forever.
Yes, sir. Yo, Sticky, we gonna hold you up and shit, Lord.
We gonna hold you up. I'm gonna call you.
Yo.
We gonna hit you back.
I'm gonna hit you after the show.
Yo, I'm in Copenhagen right now, nigga.
Oh shit.
We outside, nigga.
That's what's up. My nigga. Salute. Salute.
Like I said, that's why I kept it, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Because I
yeah.
already know, man. I know. That's why I asked what was in them cups.
But here's the question. Why didn't more of y'all become CEOs?
That wasn't a dream of mine at all. Everything, like I said, everything was brand new for me. This wasn't my plan. You know, even the music game wasn't my plan. I was doing it to impress the guys I came up with who basically taught me how to fucking rhyme and shit. So anytime I wrote a rhyme, it was like, if I can impress these niggas, fuck everybody else and shit. Never wanted to be a CEO. That was, you know, people like RZA have always had that in mind, you know? Just some people are built for that, some others aren't. Like, I always looked at myself as, if it was a mafia family, I always looked at myself as a top earner. You know what I mean? Someone who the boss can trust, you know, but doesn't want to be in the boss's position. That's why the boss can trust him. You know what I mean? Because he's comfortable where he is.
Right.
So nah, I
So
don't.
no
I can't speak for-
methodical records.
I mean, you know, I always felt like, and this is from seeing Puffy, I always felt like if you can't sign to somebody who's still trying to be an artist, it's hard. They can't give you the time or attention that you probably need and deserve, unless you are your own machine. You know,
There's
there have been people that have done
exceptions.
it. There have been people that have done it.
Yeah, definitely.
Off the top of my head, Rick Ross
Yeah.
and Meek.
Yeah, but I mean, these are people that I'm pretty sure have a staff.
That's how
Right.
you do it. That's how you do
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
Right.
It was, like I said, these motherfuckers had to come in these neighborhoods, man. You know, when we met with, our first time meeting Russell Simmons, it was in, right there, fucking Union Square, in that area.
Word.
At some restaurant. Yeah. Broadway, 14th Street, all over
Yeah,
there.
yeah, yeah.
And, yeah, we was fucking happy. This is the fucking Def Comedy Jam nigga. We sitting with the Def Comedy Jam nigga right now, you know? Tracy Waples had brought us up in there and shit. And we was all just amazed. And I remember sitting there and the question was, well, we don't want everybody. You know, we want either Old Dirty Bastard, and there was two other people. I just know I was one of them. And I'm just sitting there, I ain't saying nothing. Nothing at all, but in my head, I'm like, pick me. Pick me. Turns out Old Dirty had already signed with Elektra.
Yeah.
I was the next man in line.
Wow. When y'all started getting solo deals, did that cause any friction between y'all?
No. I was the first, well, not with me. I mean, I was the first one out the gate.
Right.
You know, I always felt like I would get nervous when a new solo album dropped because I just wanted us to keep doing good. So we building an empire, and I saw how far we could take that shit. Plus, you know, it made me look better. I was front man. I'm front man. Look at my dudes. They getting busy. They getting money.
But you was kind of front man in the group, like Method Man was a single.
I was the only one that wasn't really afraid of leaving it all out there on the stage and shit. Whether that was a good or a bad thing, I don't know. But it felt right to me in that moment. So, yeah, and people took to it, you know?
Yeah.
Where were you for the improvement of Ray and Ghost? Like, if you look at Protect Your Neck to where they are now, they're leagues better lyrically. They jumped so many levels.
Well, there were dudes on the block that wrote every day. We got a lot of those cats still around. King Just was one of them niggas. Hey, I hope.
Black Fist.
Yes, he was one of those niggas.
No
Wrote
flows
every
on
day.
the rodeo.
I remember what put a spark on the King Just's ass. I remember he said a verse for me and Ray, because he was known as rhyming niggas, and we laughed at him. Because he was doing the old Slick Rick style where he was just taking every letter. He was like, J, something, you, yeah. He's like, niggas laughed at him. After that, Just left, I think, for about 5 or 6 months. Came back, nigga.
Yeah, it was different.
He was Pavarotti out that bitch, man. Ray was one of those types where he's a get money nigga. So it wasn't always about rhymes with him. So he would take time off.
Right.
And in those times off, you know, it wasn't about rhyming. Let's just put it that way. In those times off and shit, he had a lot of other problems he had to deal with and shit. But when he picked his pen up, it's like starting over again. You're still the same person, but you're not. It's like working out again. You still got the muscle memory, but you still got to work your way back up to heavy weight and shit. You know. So Chef, he's always been a fucking beast. I think honestly, we all really got our love for it from Cap. I think Cap to this day still writes a fucking rhyme a day. He probably got, I got about 30,000 comic books. My fucking garage is filled with these shits. Cap got rhyme books like that. That's how long this nigga been rhyming, like seriously. When I moved to Long Island, back from Staten Island, I had to go live with my father because I was getting into too much shit. All the rhymes I was saying was they rhymes. But niggas ain't know that shit in Long Island. Now I'm the nigga. You know what I'm saying? But I'm saying all these stories, these niggas shit. Cap, Ray, this nigga Blue Man, and then when the rhymes ran out, I had to start writing my own. That's when I started getting nice. Because I had the blueprint right there. I knew all they rhymes. This was my blueprint.
Wow.
Right. First rhyme I wrote was with Chef. First rhyme I ever wrote in my life.
Where did Ghost come in?
Ghost was a beatbox. We used to call him Doug. Like Dougie Fresh.
Fresh. Oh shit.
He was a beatbox at first and shit, and he was nice with the breakdance and shit, you know? My first rhyme that I wrote was Chef, because I used to be in a staircase with I've never seen anything like, we 12, 13 years old. These niggas is rhyming like professionals. I've never seen anything like this before. So my whole day would be, when I woke up, especially in the summer, go look for one of these niggas. Just hang with one of these niggas all day. And eventually we run into some more niggas. Eventually these niggas put, who got half? Back then, half was $2.50. None of them got 2.50 cents, get a ravioli bag of weed. Now we need is 50 cents. $1.50, nigga. 50 cents, we go up in the staircase. Next thing you know, a session happening. Now this is ask Chef, ask any of them niggas that was in the staircase with it. It could be 2 niggas up there smoking, having a little session and shit. 2 turned into 3. These niggas got weed too, but we used to, in between the roof and the 6th floor is where we used to smoke at. We used to bang on the walls, all that shit.
Right.
2 would turn into 3, 3 would turn into 4, 4 would turn into 5, 6. Next thing you know, it's a whole fucking concert in this bitch, but it was always these rhyming ass niggas. Not just random niggas coming down. No, it was always these rhyming ass niggas. Hugo would poke his head, he was another get money nigga. He was a beatbox nigga though. He would poke his head in there, okay, now we ain't gotta beat on the wall no more, we gotta beatbox. Niggas, yo, son, they had routines, all kind of shit. We had this nigga RZ, he was doing that shit before Biz. The beatboxing and talking at the same time.
Wow.
Crazy, but yeah, you know, and that was my path. I could have been hanging with the niggas that drank beer all day and played ball. Most of them niggas alcoholics now. No teeth and shit like that, you know. But it was 40 ounces for them. But I hung with the rappers, I hung with the MCs, and them niggas was doing, niggas had, when I was in Long Island, I was a fucking jock, okay? I was out in them streets by myself from the time I was 6 years old. My mother had to call the cops to come get me 3 different times. She can attest to it, 3 different times. 6-year-old, out past night. But, damn, I lost that shit again. Yo, it was right there, I had some shit too, right? You know what I'm saying?
Long Island, you was an athlete in the streets. You was a
Right,
jock.
I was an athlete. Mom, it was to the point, homeless. My dad, I had no idea he was on drugs at this moment and shit. And I was homeless. I mean, I was living with one of my friends because we lived in a building with 3 floors and everybody knew each other in here. One of my friends that lived in the building, I just started living with them. You know, and his mother was nice enough. I mean, damn near adopted me and shit. Anyway, I was a good kid. I had my moral code, my comic books, all that shit. Got into the occasional fight, but I was by myself. So niggas used to try and bully me all the time. I had to stick up for myself and shit. Moved to Staten Island, and I'm still a kid. I still like toys. I'm 12. I still like toys and shit. These niggas, they out there hanging out. We go to the park, fuck with the monkey ball, shit like that. These niggas out there standing in front of the building like this. That was it. And I'm like, okay, this is what a man is. I'm standing out here too and shit. And then niggas passed me the shit, and like I said, I used to fake like I was smoking, but I wasn't really smoking. Till I ran into this kid, Blunt. And he looked at me and saw me fake smoking and was like, you know how to smoke, man? And before I could answer the nigga, he was like, do your hands like this. It's called Ooh La La Sassoon. You lock your hands like that, you put your mouth on there, Blunt go in there, he blew the smoke in there, told me breathe in, I breathed in. Ain't looked back since. Lord have mercy. Thank you, Blunt. Thank you, Blunt. Yeah, I had a million of those.
Wow.
But like I said, moving to Staten Island, that was like, I was exposed to so much shit. So much shit, but I had lived there prior to that, you know. I was running around crazy then, but with my friends and shit. But we wasn't doing no bad shit like grown folks. This was still kid shit.
Right.
Did bad shit, flipping on pissy mattresses, being on roofs we ain't supposed to be on, throwing rocks at fucking people and
Kid
shit.
Yeah.
Kid shit. Kicking Mr. Sizer in his ass. This was his old man. He was the superintendent of the place that I lived in and shit. And he smelled like pee. Old man smelled like pee and shit. He was a fucking pervert too and shit. And he had the first nigga I ever seen that had no voice box, so he used to have that thing. You fucking shut your fucking ass up, Mr. But when I moved back to Long Island, it started with the sports thing. It was all sports. I hung around the jocks. That's what we did in Long Island. Anybody know anything about Long Island? Sports all year round.
Yeah.
When you're not playing football, you're playing basketball. You're not playing basketball, it's lacrosse, wrestling, everything.
Yeah.
I've wrestled a year,
Lacrosse.
lacrosse,
Yeah.
baseball, everything. I used to just show up to baseball just for the color day, where they had the color, where all the teams come out with the t-shirts on and shit in so many different colors. Whatever. Get to Staten Island, and these is niggas my age, but they doing grown folk shit. And I was amazed at it, like, y'all shouldn't be doing this. Y'all should not be able to rhyme like this at this age. Y'all niggas is babies. And this continued on for years. They sparked it in me, man. It was like, yeah, after that point and shit, that's when my moms had real problems. Like, nigga, you ain't going to school and you coming in this motherfucker high? Nah, I got a story. This is it right here. This is my last story, though. Hated going to school. I'm smoking weed all day, everything and shit. And this is like my first year coming to live with my mother. Because my sisters left Long Island before I did. Like I said, damn near homeless. I'm living with, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
My mother got back on her feet, brought my sisters out there. So I'm sitting there, finally get to Staten Island, and I lost it again. Son of a bitch. See that? I done lost it. Where was I at with it?
Yeah.
Your mother brought your sisters out. She got back on
Yeah.
her feet.
Right.
But why the fuck I bring that up?
So this story, this your last. You had moved back again.
Talking
with
about
the
being a
smoking
job.
weed.
Right.
Your mom's is like, you're not going to school and you coming in
Smoking
high.
weed.
Okay, yeah, here we
Right.
go. All right, so this is her apartment. Sorry about that, y'all. Weed and shit, it happened.
Ginkgo-
So we in the
ginkgo
apartment.
biloba.
And I'm like I'm saying, I'm trying to figure out all different kind of ways that I can't go to school, but she always get me every time, get up. I ain't leaving this house. You gotta leave this house before I do. Cause she knew if she left, I'm going right back to sleep. So I just have to get up and leave and shit. I used to go to homeboy house, smoke weed all day, go to sleep at his crib. One day I just ain't feel for it. She woke me up and shit. So we had like this closet. A lot of black homes have them, but they won't admit it. Dirty clothes closet.
Yeah.
Okay. We had the dirty clothes closet. Nigga, we talking about bags piled up, son. Clothes. Nobody wear these shits anymore, just clothes.
Right.
Yeah. My nigga, I go up in this closet and pile the bags up on top of me. This is a mother's intuition, because my mom, like, never goes in this fucking closet. Nigga, ever. But today, she felt my knee. First she jumped. Oh my God. She's like, shotgun. Get your ass the fuck up out of here. You going to school. Get the fuck up out of here. Yeah. Crazy, bro. Crazy, man. I tried to hide in the dirty clothes closet, nigga. You know what I'm talking about? And I was getting some good Z's up in there, too, man. She went right up in there.
Good
bitch.
Z's.
Wow.
Even when you was doing all the acting, and you said you was in your low point, did the acting help you get out of your low point, or it made it worse?
Hell no, I was still trying to smoke while I was acting and all that shit. And then it was like I was overacting. I was green in a lot of shit I was doing. I did not like my performances, so I wouldn't watch it. How High is what really opened me up because that was just me being me.
Yeah.
So I was having fun with that shit, but I couldn't watch that shit at first because I was scared. Shit, like I don't like the way I look. I don't like that shit.
Yeah.
But then it just caught on for me because I seen people like Mos Def kill it, but which at this point I had no idea that he had trained. Common. But this is way before Common was killing it anyway. But Mark Wahlberg, I'm looking like the fuck, man.
LL.
And then Will was it for me. When I seen LL, his first role that I ever seen, I'm a big LL fan. His first role I ever seen him in was a movie called The Hard Way with James Woods
And
and Michael J. Fox.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and he was a cop. And I thought that shit was so fucking cool because he still had the K go on, nigga. He still had the K go on as a cop. Word. And I was like, them niggas, man, it's like they take that shit serious. And Pac, it was like, even with Pac, to a certain extent, right? He killed Juice. But after that, you could tell that Pac, with the exception of maybe Poetic Justice, because John Singleton, who I've worked with, just brings something out of it. But Pac's work after that was, no disrespect to his legacy, but lackluster at best. He wasn't there. He wasn't present in certain movies.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Even in Above the Rim, where he should have been in his element, I didn't feel like he gave the performance that I wanted from Tupac, especially after seeing Juice. And it may be my ignorance, you know what I mean? The movie's still good, but I thought Tupac I wanted him to be the star of the movie, and he wasn't, in my eyes.
That's debatable. But I'm not mad.
Depending on how you look at it, because he, like I said, Gridlock, which is another thing. There was moments in there where it was like, this nigga brilliant. Then there was moments where it was like he probably showed up to set late that day and just ain't feeling it. These things happen, but this is only things that you notice. And, well, people will notice it anyway. I wasn't even trained then, and I wasn't even thinking about acting then, but it was like I could see it.
Right.
It was like, that don't feel right. This just don't feel right to me.
Had you met him by then?
No. Hell no.
But then you're just using your eye.
Yeah, it just didn't feel right. Like, this don't feel like Pop right now. Like,
we talk about that in MC circles. When your name comes up, we had a big discussion with a bunch of writers, and I remember one of the main topics was who's never been sunned on a guest feature or like a feature. Like who's never been sunned. And your name, it was you,
on
Luda.
records they heard.
It was you, Luda.
Yeah.
You've never been sunned. And then the conversation came around to the only person who's ever got the better of Meth on a feature is Red.
Redman.
Red's the only person who's ever rhymed next to Meth and like edged them out.
And that's because me and Decade did a lot of records together. Because if Rebel had the look that a lot of us had gotten in the beginning, there's no reason why he, as opposed to being, and not saying taking this a slight against MC Ren, I'm saying like MC Ren was known as a lyricist in NWA, but he was never as big as Easy, never as big as Ice Cube.
Right, right.
Lyricist. Off top, we know how raw that nigga is, but you got Ray, Ghost, Jizza, RZA.
Right.
He just got lost in the shuffle. If he would have got on some of those big records with some of these other artists, but we had a strict outlook on things. We're not gonna lend any of this money out to other people. Some people listened, others didn't. Myself included. I went and did The What with Biggie. I snuck and did that shit. You know what I'm saying? I went and did How High with Redman. I was supposed to get another single off of my album, which I didn't get because I did the How High record. You know what I mean? And but I mean that shit went platinum on the soundtrack. So.
Did you record The What in the studio with Biggie?
Yeah. Tracy came and picked me up from my crib. 66 Benjamin Drive. Don't harass the people that live there now. But she came and picked me up from my crib, drove me over there and shit, and it was I can't remember where the fucking studio was and shit, but I remember it had couches and shit in there. Easy Mo B was there, Puffy was there. There was a little dining table where you could eat at, and Big was there. And we both sat there and wrote our rhymes. And there was a lot of snapping going on. Big used to snap on Puff all the fucking time.
Really?
All the time. But Big snapped on everybody. You know what I mean? Lil C's used to get it too.
Yeah.
He'll tell you though. He'll tell you though. Them niggas had jokes, man. Funny niggas. And while we was in there, we wrote the verses down and shit, spit our shit. Then
So
Puffy
Biggie
wanted to
wrote
play-
it down?
Yeah. Yeah. And me and Puffy played a little torture and shit, then Tracy took me home. And I was like, man, when niggas hear this, like, man, when niggas hear this shit, it's
I'm
gonna be
not gonna
on.
let you speed through that, man. I'm not gonna let you speed through that. Not gonna let you speed through that. Cause you guys went back and forth.
Yeah.
When you were hearing, okay, all right, cause the what is a testimony of what are you talking about? You were jotting. That record is like,
I get it. The process, by the time I got there, Biggie's verse was written and he told me that he wanted to end it with, you can't mess with M-E, and I was supposed to go T-H-O after M-E, but I overlapped him because it didn't fall on beat doing it that way.
Right.
That's where the T-H-O-D, man, here I am, I'll be damned at this ace and shit. And I wrote that shit was quick as fuck. And who was I biting then? Who flowed? Nas.
Nas?
I was biting Nas flow. I'll be damned if this ain't some shit. Time to spread the butter lyrics over harmony grids. And it was like that, just that trap. I be the jet, broke it up into my own shit because it's, you know, drumming where you rest, that surrender. Step inside the ring, you the number one contender. Looking cold booty like your pussy in December. Nigga, stop snitching.
Button up your lippin'. For method, all you're getting is a can of ass whipping.
Hey,
I be kicking. You, son, you doing all the yapping. Acting as if it can't happen. Your front and got me mad enough to touch something.
Who wrote?
I got
who
that
wrote-
from MOP. Acting as if it can't
It can't
happen.
happen, yeah.
Fame was like, I'll make it happen. I love them niggas from day one. How about some hardcore?
Yeah.
I was like, them niggas is scary.
Wait, who wrote?
Yeah.
Who wrote? I got more Glocks and texting
Biggie.
you. I make it hot, niggas.
Won't
So
even
he
stand
asked you to
next
say
to
that
you.
part.
Yes.
Wow.
Yes. That's how he wrote though. And I believe he wrote a lot of Junior Mafia's rhymes, probably wrote some of Kim's shits, but Kim is a writer herself though. Don't sleep on Kim.
Right.
But yeah, he wrote that. He had me say that part.
How you feel about ghostwriting?
I don't give a fuck.
My man. Thank you.
I mean, I don't give a fuck, but when you want to talk about top 5 MCs, you already eliminated yourself.
Thank you.
You've
it is.
eliminated yourself.
Thank
There it
you.
is.
But
We
now,
do.
you know, with these top 5s and shit, it's like motherfuckers is. It's like they're trying to trump niggas with, if it's MCs, rapper, different, I get that. But if you got MCs, you going off lyrical content. I don't give a fuck how many records this motherfucker sold. Or how many fucking, what his influence was on the fucking fashion industry and shit like that. You know what I mean? You know certain niggas, when you hear their verses, you pay attention.
Right.
Because you know this nigga about to say some shit.
Right.
Facts. For real. And that's the whole Griselda. So when I heard Griselda record, I'm like, okay, I'm gonna hit that.
Yeah.
Let me sit up real fast. And whoever they got on the fucking record, 38 Special.
Right.
Shooter. You know what I mean?
Right.
All them niggas.
Going it.
Flea Lord. You know what I'm talking about?
Rock Marcy,
Rock,
et cetera.
Rock is a genius, whether people know it or not. Look, you want to talk about, niggas be talking about underrated and all that shit. No, I'm not underrated. I've made my bones and there's people out there that Rock Marciano under fucking rated.
Yeah,
Like a
for real.
motherfucker, man. It be niggas like that I want to see hit big and be like, you know, running the fucking culture. Like niggas follow that shit.
His production is.
And he from Hempstead.
His production is. You should. What is it gonna take to get a Method Man album with specific people, like specific production?
Now it's just more or less like, I just gotta be comfortable.
You and Rock Marcy would come up with something.
He sent me some shits.
What the fuck are you waiting for?
I had to work on the me and Havoc shit. I gotta finish it up.
I'll be quiet.
There you go.
I'll be
it.
quiet. You doing an album with Havoc?
Yes.
Oh, you
I mean,
came-
we've
oh,
been
you
working
came
on
in
it
late.
since the pandemic. We've been
I know
working
what
on
you
it since
do.
the pandemic. And Havoc, you know, me with tour days to Power shit and all that shit, and then
Yeah.
having to sit back on our hands for so long. I love it because it gave us a lot of time to work on more records and tighten shit up. So
Right.
that's coming. But yeah, I'm gonna get the Rock. I got his math in my phone. Him, Flea, Stove God.
Rock Waller.
Rockwaller. Well, me and Rockwaller, speaking of Rockwaller, me and Rockwaller have a little EP we're trying to do right now, but I've been pushing it back because I want to make it an LP. And it's all my favorite joints from back in the day. I got, right now, it's still #1, KRS-One. That beat. Latifah's Had It Up to Here. Queen Latifah. MC Light.
Light as a Rock?
No. Stop, Look, Listen. Stop, Look,
That was
Listen.
my second guess.
Ego Trippin'. Ultra Mag. Gotta pay fucking homage to my niggas. They put us on big time.
Right.
The Joint, EPMD, but that's, you know, that's a little bit more recent. I'm trying to, I'm not gonna say it on camera, fuck that, no. Because I ain't do those yet, I'm gonna wait till I do them. And anybody try and come with that idea, Fab did something like that. And when I heard that, I was like, there was, and still to this day, but there was a moment where it was like, who is this Fabulous? Because I remember from the Lil Mo days and all that shit, but who this new nigga?
Yeah.
Like this nigga did a fucking,
The soul tapes and all that.
Yeah.
who's this nigga?
Funeral Fab.
Salute.
Funeral Fab.
Funeral Fab.
Funeral Fab.
Come on. Who,
I remember I drove.
what?
I drove to
Funeral
Atlanta
Fab.
just playing that whole DJ Drama first Funeral Fab joint. I was like, we didn't play nothing else.
Who lit a fire under his ass? And I felt that same way about Sean P. When I didn't even know that was rock. I didn't know that was rock.
Rock, yeah.
I had no idea that was rock, and all of a sudden, like, this Sean P nigga is nice.
Yo, rest in peace to Sean Price.
So when I seen him, and this is when I was having my block and all that shit, and what really, I seen him and shit, and I was like, yo, I've been listening, yo, you been on a fucking tear, man. What made your pen turn around like that? You know him and shit, it's like nothing, and he's like, nigga, I'm better than these niggas. And that was it, end the conversation. I was like, say less.
Accurate.
Say less,
Say
that's
less.
it.
Accurate.
That's
Say
it,
less.
that's it.
Story of my motherfucking life, fuck
Wow.
it. Be better than these niggas, that's it. That's how I took it.
I just want to know how 50 Cent convinced you to be a lawyer.
Well, it wasn't 50.
It wasn't?
I mean, he was instrumental, and
Yeah.
you know, it was probably his idea to even give me the look or whatever, him and Courtney or whatever. But at the end of the day, it was my decision to audition, free will. And the fact that they hired me meant that they trust my decisions that I made in that audition, and they trust me with the part, or they wanted to challenge me to see what I could do with it. And I was not gonna squander that at all. I don't care if it was a low budget movie. I'm not gonna. At this point in moment, every time you see me on a camera and they say action, that's exactly what's gonna happen. I know what I'm there for. It's like, and I hate this expression, knowing the assignment, but yeah.
You knew this?
Yeah.
Well,
Yo, can you do me a solid though?
Okay.
In the next season coming, I know it's about to get crazy. Just send me a text if you're gonna have your cheeks out again in the episode,
I know.
bro. Just warn me ahead of time.
Even if I was.
If you're gonna have your cheeks
Yeah, I think I made my quota. I think I made my
you
quota
sound
on what niggas say.
the way these girls are going crazy, nigga. Like, Courtney gonna write you back in there again.
Niggas gotta put the phone down for a couple
timeline was
days when you do that
The timeline
shit, bro.
was disrespectful, bro. I didn't go back until Wednesday.
I can imagine this shit.
No, you just.
I got a text like, yo, this nigga meth in a banana hammock all over my timeline. I was like, no, never meet your heroes, not this way. No, this is not what I signed up for.
And it was across all platforms: Facebook, Twitter,
And see,
Snapchat.
and me, I'm so far gone. When I look at it, I see Davis McLean. I do not see me.
Yeah, well,
That's what's up. That's what's up.
banana hammocks all over.
But every now and then we get a little piece of meth.
Yeah, I have
Like
to.
a chick walking around.
Well, I mean,
Fat ass.
for me, it's
I remember that fucking scene.
it's translating the words on the paper, but actually being like, that's what I would do in a normal moment.
Right.
Do that on camera, motherfucker. What the fuck? You ever see niggas that they do a movie like in the hood? It's like they hood movie shit, and you get the, like, these niggas is gangsters for real, but when the camera come on, they're like,
It's weird.
They don't act like they act.
Yeah, you're like,
And this is, but I'm like, nigga, this is why they hide your
you
ass.
broke,
to act,
because you
know what I
really
mean?
do- yeah.
because
Right.
you really do this. So
Right.
just really do this.
They want the authenticity.
Right. Now, this may be, I want everybody to check this out after this, but this might just be my, me thinking too hard about shit, but there's a scene in Godfather 2 where Kate is telling Michael she aborted his son and she meant to do it and da-da-da, and he hauls off and smacks her.
yeah.
Look at her
remember
face afterwards. I don't think that was supposed to be in the scene.
Yeah.
I think he smacked the shit out of her on some real shit to get a real reaction out of her first and foremost, but also just, you know, and this is the shit that, not to be smacked on camera, but this is the shit that I like about acting, because somebody will turn up on you and
you gotta
the way you, like, not even following suit, you gotta have a real moment in that fucking moment. If you don't, you blow it. You'll blow it. You'll blow it.
Django, I was just about to say that, where he cut his hand.
He cut his hand.
Yeah.
And he's sitting there
and
bleeding.
He smeared the blood.
But see, that was an accident, right? And the smearing the blood shit, this is him staying in the moment.
Yeah.
But take that scene in New Jack City where Wesley Snipes takes the girl, throws her, and pours the fucking champagne.
Yeah.
All right, now watch. Where there was all right. Mario Van Peebles, who does the Hulu series, he told us this. He said the girl that was playing the part, fabulous actress by the way, said that maybe she was nervous, who knows. He said that he hates soap opera acting, and she was giving him soap opera acting. So he pulls Wesley to the side and he says, Wesley, I need a real reaction out of her. Can you do something for me? What you seen on that camera, that was Wesley getting a real reaction out that woman. Now when y'all watch that scene, y'all gonna watch that shit totally different.
Crazy.
Cancel that bitch.
But the director
I'll buy another one.
got what he wanted in that scene. He didn't tell her shit. He told Wesley. And Wesley knew the assignment. Did his 1-2-1.
Can you see yourself directing one day?
I like it, but they the first ones there, last ones to leave. I'm good. When they say rap, you should do that
already.
Nah, he want to
You do that already.
Nah, but I like those spaces. I like being there.
Right.
Shit.
Yo.
But not because you are, but I had a moment on Oz.
Ooh.
And I'm still green. And my opening scene, I'm in here with Lord Jamar, brand Nubians. I'm supposed to get up, something like get up, out to stab him, simple enough. We in the visiting room, and Mums, the poet.
Mums the Schema, rest in peace.
I'm there to visit him. This is my introduction to the show. I'm there to visit him, but the visit is really a hit on Lord Jamar.
Right.
So we sitting at the table. Scene calls for him, we talking. He's like, he gave me a nod. I reach under the table, grab the shank that's taped under the table, stand up, walk over to Lord Jamar, stab him. Stab the nigga. I'm thinking I'm killing this shit. Simple enough. Do it a couple of more times. Steve Buscemi comes to me, he says, slow down. I don't know exactly what he means, but I'm thinking he's saying I'm getting up too fast, maybe stabbing too fast, so the next time I did it, I kind of slowed it down a little bit. He came to me, he was like, oh, by the way, Steve Buscemi directed this shit, the Nucky
Thompson from Bulwark Empire.
So he comes to me, he's like, look, this is a visiting room, right? This is your first time in here. You wouldn't be able to pull that shank from under that table that fast because you would not know where it was. Take your time. Got it. Action. I did it again. Did Steve come say anything to me? No. What he did was he went to the prop guy. He said, when you tape it under there, move it.
Put it someplace else.
Didn't tell me though.
Yeah.
Action. Got the reaction he wanted. Got what he wanted, right? And that's why I love this shit, because yes, we're grown people up there playing pretend, but the nuances of it and the just, you know, something that sparks a thought. Like for me, it feels like that first time being in that staircase, seeing kids my age do grown up shit.
Yeah, it's awesome.
You know what one of his dream roles is? We spoke about it before.
Bishop.
Yeah.
Kevin Feige.
Or that, you know.
We put it in the air. Kevin Feige.
I've been
But
putting
not
it in
even
there.
a dream role. It's like y'all don't have many black characters. Well, you probably now, but y'all don't have many black characters to choose from in the Marvel Universe. Let's change that. Now, I did, honestly. If there's still a slot, I would love to play a character in the MCU. But honestly, and I got this from Idris. When I asked Idris, I said, I heard you were going to play Bond. He was like, no, man. It's like, if anything, we can create our own characters.
I would dig Bishop though.
Yeah.
Him as Bishop in the MCU, especially with the multiverse.
They turned up the X-Men the right way. That
Well,
would be dope.
Well, I mean, we've seen them turn genders different as far as MCU characters. We've seen them change their race, things of that nature. I say just leave it the way it was, because this is what it is, and create new characters, and they have been. They have been. I mean, the X-Men were who the X-Men were, but what if Nightcrawler never joined Storm? Because the X-Men weren't, none of them were X-Men at first.
Yeah.
But they took and let all these people join in it. And the X-Men is basically a correlation between
Malcolm X and Martin Luther King.
You know, you got Professor X and
Rest
you
in peace,
have
Stanley.
Magneto.
Rest in
All
peace,
I'm
Stanley.
waiting for is when you pull up with the picture with the M on your eye.
Well, I could do that when I come back on the show. I got an actual cosplay costume. Oh. Bishop. I could do that.
saw it. I saw you in the joint.
And I couldn't really fit it. Now I can fit.
But you got the build, you got the build, you got the
build,
silvers, like
all.
yeah.
But I wouldn't. But honestly, like whoever they pick for that role, I will applaud it because I'm pretty sure that they trust them to do it. Right now, a lot of people are pining for the guy that played on Snowfall, the uncle. He's great. He's dope too. Amir? Oh, no, not Amir. It's what's his name? No. He's dope though. I love him on that show. And honestly, if I didn't get it, I would love to see him.
But nah, Meth.
Yeah.
Bro.
Meth as Bishop.
But that's why I put it out there. I put it in the universe like that. So if somebody do get it and shit, the Twitterverse.
Listen,
fuck
Kevin
him up.
Feige.
I mean,
Whoever
shit.
runs with it,
Kevin ain't watching. Kevin is not watching.
he watching, nigga.
I would on
Or
Kevin.
one of his Goonies is watching.
Kevin don't even read the comments on his IG.
Deathlock.
I've been
Deathlock
there.
was
Deathlock is DC.
is DC. Okay.
No, Deathlock is
DC.
No, he's not.
Not?
Deathlock is he's Marvel.
Marvel.
Wait a minute.
Aha.
Nah. I'm thinking of Deathstroke.
No,
I'll shut up.
Deathlock.
I'm quiet. I'm
Deathlock.
quiet.
He's like part man, part machine, and he's black.
No, I'm
Yeah,
quiet.
and he's black.
I'm quiet.
There's another one.
You know, and shout out to DC too, because DC is
cooking.
they're coming up. They're coming up. They're coming up real fast. But like I said, I would love to see something original, something that can create a character as iconic as a Superman, but for people like us.
That'd be
I
fine.
love this world.
Right? We had Action Jackson though. Talk about it. Carl Weathers.
Facts.
Carl, Superman. That was our Superman
Weathers.
right there.
Right.
Carl Weathers, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
You gotta show us what it look like,
Action
man.
Jackson.
You right?
50.
Yo,
You
it's
gotta-
late, nigga.
Yeah.
Like we got.
All right.
Yes.
I got one question. The last
sir.
question.
Yes, sir.
Last question. Your body in it on Power.
Thank you,
Yeah.
brother.
We are all amazed.
Appreciate it.
Levels. Is Ghost still alive?
It's Hoffa, trapper turn smack rapper. Only smack rapper that you know is smack rappers. Got bars I can hang with the backpackers. Trap star, I don't hang with the backpackers. I'm in the hood with the work you heard. Making fiends leave earth you heard. Got your baby mama thirst you heard. Feel the flow, nigga, throw it in reverse. This the wave you need to surf you heard.